Heidi hi, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. For the few early arrivals, and like I said in the Discord, sorry for the last minute notification. Oh dear, Wattle, that's not good. Hopefully you can join us properly soon. But yeah, Vertex wasn't around earlier in the day for the game for reasons probably still asleep, knowing Vertex. But now we have all 4 players for the Mayhem Addicts game in the lobby and ready to go. So once again, for anyone that's not doesn't know about the tournament, it's, as you can see on the screen, 2v2 tournament, random map, random civs, and the teams were decided by seeding pool, so it wasn't like people didn't join as teams, they joined individually and they were placed in teams. So far, we yesterday streamed the replays of some of the other series, so if you want to watch the VOD, I won't do any spoilers of that, but there were some pretty good games. We have been testing out for the players that are usually in the Legion division for Rise of the Ancients. Those players have been given a handicap to try and make the teams more even. So in this game, Popeye is going to have a 10% handicap, and like I said, random civs, random maps, best of 5 for this round robin stage, and I think when it gets to the finals, that's going to be the best of 7. And I think they are just doing their final checks, because like I said, I can see them in the lobby, so hopefully they should be ready to go soon. I'll turn the notice off of the stream, as we are live and ready now. So yeah, again, sorry for the messed up scheduling. Excuse me. Fortunately, games with Vertex are always a little bit of a coin flip as to whether he turns up on time or not. But hopefully, like I said, we'll have some good games today. And we'll get you in the first game pretty sharpish. So obviously, Bongo, Vertex and Unrestricted, like I said, they're usually in the Centurion division, and they're quite top tier players. Popeye has been getting stronger and stronger ever since he started playing the game about a year or so ago, and has been a solid mainstay in the Legion division of Rise of the Ancients. But there is still a little bit of a gap between the Centurion players and Legion players. I know last season Bob, not seen Bob around for too much recently, but he had a go at having after winning the Legion division a couple of times, he had a go in the Centurion division and struggled a little bit in that league. He did I think he did take a handful of games off some of the Centurion players, but obviously there's just quite a large divide between the Legion players and Centurion players. Like I said, we're still just in the lobby. Hopefully we get the game started soon. Oh, there we go. It's just, I was going to say Bongo did just put a message on the Discord, but looks like they have just launched now. So let us get straight into game 1, and like I said, I'll just pause the music and just jump straight into the game. It's a best of 5, random maps, random civs, so we'll find out what the map is. There is a map pool, so it's not just every map in the game. I'd actually have to recheck what the map pool is again. But we can, yeah, it looks like we're straight in. So the map is going to be Hill Country. And I feel like we don't normally have Hill Country in our map pool for most tournaments, because normally we have Highland and Hill. I mean, actually, I was going to say they're quite similar, but I think Hill Country tends to have a lot more wood on it. so it's usually a little bit easier to actually wall up than it is on Highland. And also hill country tends to have a lot more, like, well, hills. There's no really other way of putting that. So there's a bit more to sort of controlling the high ground and stuff to get that damage bonus in the fights. Let's have a look at the civs. It looks like Madara here, just to avoid confusion, Madara is unrestricted. Obviously everyone else has their own name. I feel like Popeye might have added an extra E to his name since I last saw him. I feel like he was 6 last time, and now it looks like it's 7. Well, 8, including the one at the end, of course, but 7 in a row. But let's have a look. So Unrestricted is going to be on the Chosen. And interestingly, I didn't actually see Chosen or actually Macedonians. Neither of these civs came up. Actually, even Yamato. So 3 new civs from the series, a couple of series yesterday. Yesterday we had quite a few Persian and Hittite random picks, I remember. But yeah, anyway, so Chosen for Unrestricted, and his teammate Popeye is going to be on the Macedonians, like I said. Vertex is going to be on the Lakviat, and Yamato for Bongo here. So yeah, Bongo and Vertex definitely going to have the stronger early game. I think they just are the stronger early game civs. I was trying to. The Chosen and Macedonians do have some bonuses early in the game, but the Latvia in particular, with the faster working berry workers as well as the faster working military production, just very strong at the start of the tool age. Usually get their pretty good times and then get the military units out nice and fast. We have in the community patch changed the Latvia so that military production speed bonus doesn't apply in the Stone Age anymore. So those initial clubbers as you're going up to the tool age don't benefit from that bonus anymore. It's just once you get into the tool age. But it's still a very strong bonus there. And I'm sure Vertex will do his best to utilize that bonus. Alright, design. Justice for Billy. And the Yamato, very strong in team games just because their team bonus gives all members on their team the cheaper archery ranges and stables, which basically every civ's going to build those in the tool age. So it's a very strong bonus to have throughout the whole game, really. Saves you a lot of wood. And like I said, the Chosen, they do get the extra HP on the axes, as well as the cheaper storage pit tech. So they do have like a sort of little spike right at the start of the tool age, where they have that slightly stronger axe, and they have a few more resources spare to maybe put out another, effectively, a couple of more free axes. Mace don't really have many early game bonuses, but they do get the extra line of sight, which does help sort of find your resources and stuff. You can see Popeye's already grabbed a couple of elephants there. Otherwise, they're much more of a sort of late game civ. We have changed Mace so that their team bonus is now that they get the faster working archery range, which can help you mass up compies quite well in the Bronze Age. But then obviously they have the hoplite line with the extra pierce armor, as well as just the conversion resistance in all their units. But you don't really tend to see priests too often in team games, especially just because their priests will usually be quite vulnerable. But either way, it would be a difficult play against the Macedonians. You can already see Vertex with the barracks forward. Villager there, having a little look around. Popeye does have a defence's few clubbers of his own. He's gone double barracks to defend. Axa upgrade is already coming in. And let's have a look on this side. It's going to be Bongo pushing forward with a stable and archery range. And it looks like Popeye's probably going to be able to fend off this initial push, but the archery range follow-up may prove a little bit tricky for Popeye if he's not too careful. I think this clubman's just going to be doing a little bit of scouting. He's not really going to be able to get much else done. Unrestricted, actually just going for quite defensive play. Has trapped one of his villagers outside. Maybe a little bit overkill with pulling that many villagers. Just wanted to get that wall. Ooh, let's hopefully... Okay, does close that up again. But obviously he is open at the back here. He's trying to get the walls down but he's got a long way to go. Well, I mean, I guess the effect he should go here. Has he actually seen that yet? No. So the scout is going to slip round, and that's another archery range. So Bongo really utilising that Yamato bonus. Also, Yamato scouts are much cheaper as well. He's already got the +2/+2 in. Let's have a look back up here. Axo upgrade in for Vertex now. But not too much damage done, I don't think. There's no... Yeah, so it's 2 kills to... I presume this is Bongo's team. So Bongo getting a scout. Yeah, okay, there's a villager kill there. And Unrestrict probably... Yeah, he's already got the needlework upgrade in. Yeah, he's going to struggle a little bit against these scouts. Pulling a lot of villagers to take that down. Like I said, with the needlework in, you can... He's going to be able to pull that away in time. Not quite. One more villager does go down. But yeah, Scout's always a little bit tricky just because of how fast they are. But yeah, with needlework in, Unres is more or less able to fend that attack off. But he has lost 3 villagers. I think that's actually team villagers. So I don't know, potentially Popeye may have lost 1 at some point. Popeye actually has the highest score at the moment. So he set himself quite nicely up into the tool age. Hopefully for him he can maybe try and get a push back onto Vertex. Vertex looks like it's okay, it's just a singular bowman. I thought he maybe was going to try and mass up some units, but the house has gone down, which means the scouts are in. Where are the axes for Unres? Is he just trying to... I guess we'll just focus on the fight here. There's a lot of bowmen, so Unres in a lot of trouble here. On the names. I'll try and sort that out in a second, Wattle, just because I'm focusing on the action. But yeah, and Riz in a pretty bad spot at the moment. I'd like to say, where are his axes? Trying to... Okay, it's just, they're kind of in no man's land here. They're not really there, ready to defend. There's a lot of big, massive bowmen anyway. And Rez trying to run his villagers away, but the scouts are going to spot this. And Popeye, like I said, doing a good job of defending on the top side of the map. But this push on the bottom side, triple archery range. And yeah, I think Unres coming a little bit undone here. I don't think he's going to be able to... Well, that's how many bows are still left. 8 there. House not quite going up in time. It's going to delay the chase. Some villagers are going to be able to run. Popeye maybe losing a bit of ground now after he was looking pretty good. A few slingers in for Vertex. No stone mining in just yet. Don't know. Yes, he does have woodworking, I should say. And Vertex does not, so Popeye's still in a decent position. He's going to grab those other berries. Let's have a look. A couple more villagers going to get caught out. Does have a few bows now, but Bongo just way higher numbers. And yeah, I think Unres is calling that he may be the deceased. And I think that might be the correct call. But yeah, Bongo is forward, just getting the job done. It's interesting because Bongo, I feel like, played a lot more defensively. I said I wasn't going to spoil too much of the games from yesterday, but I feel like in a lot of games he did play quite defensively, but here he just went for the all-in push. And we can make it. Popeye feeling himself here, but I think Unrestricted is a bit too far behind now. Can I get villager numbers? Oh no, we've got villager numbers here now, haven't we? We've got, yeah, only five villagers for Unrestricted. But yeah, one of the recent capture age changes, we've got the villager count back again, which is nice to see. Obviously you got the 62-45 here for the combined for the team as well. But yeah, Popeye, like I said, doing a decent job, but this is the remnants of Unrestricted's economy trying to make a run for his ally. And 10 bows, but I think if Bongo just brings his army over, Popeye's not going to be able to play this game 2v1. But yeah, still holding on. Let's just have a look at the upgrades, see if that... Yeah, woodworking is still only in for Popeye, so Vertex missing that pretty nice upgrade to have for those bows, as well as just the eco from getting the extra wood. Looks like he is just leaning on the slingers for time being, and he does have the stone mining in for that. Popeye going to lose another couple of bows there. He is trying to make more axes, but kind of in this position. Oh, okay, I wouldn't even pay attention. He's managed to get himself to Bronze Age. Looks like he's transitioning into the cavalry. I was paying attention. I kind of like half thinking the game was already over, so I wasn't paying attention to the age up. But I don't know if Popeye's going to have enough time. He does have the... It's curious this weird HP values. I don't know if that's just a bug in capture age. But he does have needleworking, which is what the point of what I was trying to say was. First cavalry... Oh, okay, his stables are over here. One cavalry unit. Probably is actually going to be able to get some good value here. There's no axes on the field, but yeah, here comes Bongo's army. And Popeye going to lose a lot of his vills here, trying to hide them in the TC. Maybe, I don't know if that was a misclick there. But yeah, this cavalry unit getting some good value in. 10 kills already. Next wave comes in. Wheeler's going to be in. And Vertex is calling that he's aging. Can you... It's been a while since I've done team games. I'm trying to look if there's a sign of aging up. But yeah, okay, GG is called. I think just Popeye just lost too many villagers there. It was a good try to get himself to the Bronze Age, but it's like I said, Bongo just had his army to come in and swoop. And I think Bongo probably could have swept over a little earlier. I don't know if he was just like trying to find the rest of Unrestricted's villagers. He only had one left in the end. But yeah, like I said, decent defense from how do I do this again? T, there we go. It was the double barracks defense, and only the single barracks push forward because yeah, Vertex was just want to switch straight into an archery range, and yeah, Popeye more than ready for that. But maybe, yeah, Unrestricted must be housed here. That's probably why that club isn't being produced. So yeah, I tried to get the wall set up, but yeah, the problem with going for the walls and not having enough military, yeah, he's only got a couple of clubbers. It's like, if you don't get all the walls down, basically, the walls you did use are completely useless. And then there was that point where Bongo did just break through the front. Obviously it is still open around here, but you want to go the shortest route through the houses. And like I said, we have buffed the HP on the houses, so they are a little bit more reliable in the walls, but at the end of the day, you don't want to rely on them too heavily. And like I said, Unrestricted had like a couple of axes just sort of in the middle of the nowhere. I guess you tried, Unrestricted was trying to go for some sort of counter push, and just, yeah, had all those axes pretty much out of position. And then, yeah, tried to fight back with the villagers when it has the needle working in, but Bongo just had too many units. That's a real complaint there from Restricted. And is there a way I can see all the resources? I'm trying to remember how it works for teams. Just so that we can see. I thought there was like a thing where you could have it up here where you could see the team resources. Maybe I'm forgetting. If you click on the names, individual names. Where do you mean? I'm getting. What do you mean here? Oh, there we go. Oh, I thought it went like wider though. That's not that great having it like that. I thought like it would you used to have a thing where it had like one player here and one player here, and then you could see the resources. So that's. I mean, I guess I can just have that. Have a look now and again just have a look where the resources are. But anyways, so game 1 is going to go to Bongo and Vertex. Yeah, it's better than nothing, that's for sure. The capture age is mostly made for the 1v1s, I feel. So it's not always the best for the team games, but... Unrest Titanic, yeah, I think he... I don't know. Like I said, he went for that wall play. Didn't really have any actual units to defend himself, and then just didn't have enough time to get the walls up. And like I said, Popeye went the double defensive barracks, prepared for the all-in. Vertex and Bongo, like I said, did have a pretty good combination of civs. The Lakviat, just a very solid civ in general on the land maps, and then the Yamato combined with the Yamato bonus as well. Like I've said before in some of the balance changes that I feel like maybe the Yamato bonus should be nerfed or changed, because I feel like it's a bit too strong as a team bonus. Because you can just... yeah, because it saves you 50 wood on every stable or archery range, which like you can like instantly save like 100 or 150 wood as soon as you hit the tool edge, which for a team bonus that's pretty powerful. So yeah, just waiting for the players to set themselves up to get into game 2. Normally this is where I'd go to the draft and do some considerations, but we don't have a draft in this one, it's random civs. So look at the draw. Like I said, I feel like Vertex Bongo did have probably the better civs in that situation. Looks like we do have game 2 launching in a way. And let's get ourselves in. And it looks like... oh, it's Highland this time. So we go from hill country to Highland. So maybe we will see the slight differences in the map. But like I said, I mean, actually, these spawns are quite heavy on the wood as well. A little bit more open, but not a lot, to be honest. But yeah, a few less hills. There still are a few here and there. You can see Popeye's already going for those central elephants, but not quite as much as hill country. Bongo's got very close wood lines to his base. House there to block that off. But yeah, Bongo on the Sumerians. Vertex on the Egyptians, so much more of sort of Bronze Age to later on civilizations this time for Bongo and Vertex. Popeye on one of my favourite civs, the Phoenicians. So they look probably the strongest civ in the early game here, and then it's Palmyrans for Unrestricted. And we'll see if he is going to try and pull off any Palmyran shenanigans, or if he's going to try and lean on the eco side a bit more for them. Yeah, Bongo just bringing back those elephants. Looks like Vertex has managed to grab one himself. But yeah, Popeye definitely has the best early game civ from the fort. I know I've seen some players, as Unrestricted brings back some elephants, talk about the Palmyran rush. I've still yet to sit down and crunch the numbers on that one to see if it's actually worth it or not. But usually it's the case that you go for the 16 vills with Palmyran and age up on that. Sometimes you go for maybe 18 if you want to have a bit more of a boomy game, though on the more open land maps that's a little bit more risky. You do have the extra armour on the vills, of course, for Palmyran, which helps you resist those early rushes a little bit more, but obviously still axes and the like are quite scary compared to villagers. Oh, do you just mean the actual for ROR, the team's UI is not as good in Capture Age? Is that what you mean, Carver? Is it slightly different in AoE2? Maybe I'm used to seeing the AoE2 one, and that's what I was thinking of. Because I feel like I've seen like MemTV and stuff doing when they're doing. Is it? I can't remember what the team tournament he used to does now, but like the 3v3 team tournament he's done in the past, and I feel like Capture Age was fine for that. Looks like Bongo's going to put a storage pit down here. Yeah. And we do already have a forward villager from Unrestricted, and he has stopped on that 16 vills. So yeah, Tool Age is coming in now. It's interesting that the aging up doesn't seem to appear on the side here. Normally there's like the little icon when it's 1v1. But yeah, Bongo on the way up as well now, as he's just clicked. Everyone else on... Actually, Popeye stopped on 19 vills. Possibly having the 10% handicap boost has allowed him to get that get those resources slightly quicker to maybe click at 19. That said, it's quite a lot of idle TC time for the team. 2 minutes combined. As we see the forward barracks come down from both players on the bottom side team. It's going to be a defensive barracks from Vertex. Actually, that's the second barracks. One barracks already was built at home, it seems. Oh, okay, clogging up the gap there. So the initial clubber comes through. And double barracks down for Unrestricted. Barracks forward from Bongo, a little bit delayed, as Unrestricted is the first to hit the Tool Age. And is he going to add any more villagers, or is he just going to go for the all-in here? He's got quite a few deer left. There's that elephant over there that he has seen, so he can grab that later. Initial clubber needs its upgrades. Interestingly, Unrestricted's gone for tool working first. Bongo does have, he's Sumerian, so he doesn't get needle working, he just gets the +1 attack for free anyway. And there is a trade, so one villager does go down for the price of an Axa, which you'll take any day of the week. Defensive towers going up, well, a singular defensive tower, I guess I should say, going for Bongo. Let's have a look, it's going up top side. Looks like needlework probably already in there. Actually, no, it isn't. It's still got 25 HP villagers, so this axe is probably going to get some damage done. Armor upgrade again not in for Popeye. So it's curious that both players went for the armor second. Normally I'd prefer to see that coming first. And Vertex going for the villager. Oh, this is not good to see when he doesn't have needleworking. Jumps through the TC to keep those villagers alive. Axis coming in now. Missing the +2 coming in for attack. Tool working coming in now. But Popeye, archery range, here we come there. I was going to say needs the bowman, I think, at this point to start following up. Unrestricted, willing to dive under the tower there. The Axeman does have one base pierce armor that does resist that damage a little bit, and so he feels like he's able to dive underneath that. So 9 eco kills from Popeye's team, I guess we'll go with, as that's what Capture Age is saying. I don't know if this is just Unrestricted, just trying to force these villagers to stay inside the tower, just cause more idle time. And yeah, Popeye just all over Vertex at the moment. Again, Popeye with the highest score hit. So this forward push going quite well for him. Vertex has 1 bowman, 4 axes in defense, but yet 5 and 2, slightly better numbers. 9 axes for Unrestricted. Let's pop that down here, see what's going on. Archery range now going up for Bongo. Villager numbers 16, 16 to 22, and yet Unrestricted just stay on that 16, so he's just keeping for the all-in. Can only fit 5 villagers in this tower, but he's, that was quite nicely moved from Bongo. He basically used that as a gate to get into the wood line. I think this means, if we have, let's actually open the resources up. It does have, okay, 300 food in bank, but he's not gathering any food for the time being, is what I was thinking there. Villager getting in the mix there, but it looks like Vertex has gone for a run. And maybe, I was going to say, it looks like Popeye spotted it, but it looks like he is going to get away now. Storage pit just trying to be built out of the way. Unrestricted now setting up the walls. Sneaky Axa in the back here. Popeye's set up watchtower kind of isn't quite really defending the wood line, but maybe he'll try and close off this area here. Villagers jumping the TC. I don't think he needs to be too afraid of one axe. Okay, he doesn't have needlework in. And again, I don't really understand why. Oh, okay, maybe that's a handicap actually. Maybe does handicap give you HP? Maybe it does. I've never really considered that. So that might be the handicap that's making that a little bit extra health there. Does that apply to all stats? Like attack as well? If it like rounds up to a high enough value? Oh, looks like a couple of axes are in. Unrestricted doesn't have needlework in. Maybe he feels forced to, yeah, crossbowman. Capture Age doesn't understand needlework, so it always calls it crossbowman, but that is the needlework upgrade coming in. As you can see, 35 HP now. But we've got blinking lights all over the place. 9 villagers left for Vertex now. So it looks like a few more villagers got caught out. Ah, okay, the storage pit got found, that's why. Takeaway Bongo is producing villagers back up to 18 again. Unrestricted holds the ground. 27 vills for Popeye now. Let's have a look at the resources again. Is he anywhere near? Not quite. Doesn't quite have the resources for Bronze Age just yet. But it looks like he is in a reasonably comfortable position. It's actually Unrestricted who's still sticking on the 16 vills. It's just carrying on. I said he's not actually producing. I guess he's producing slingers now. Maybe he's moved on to stone. Okay, here we go. 3 villagers on stone. I think that's a few too many. I guess maybe he wanted a bit more to finish off the walls. Ooh, little sneaky route at the back. The Unrestricted. Yeah, I guess he's just assumed that this goes to the edge of the map. I think it's probably would have been quite probable that there was a gap here, though. So I'm a little bit surprised Unrestricted didn't check. This little channel's a little bit unusual, but wasn't that unlikely there would be a gap there. Another of... Oh, that's actually Popeye's villager that's getting caught out here. And let's kind of look back. Bowman in defence. I think with needlework in these villagers, and also these are Palmyran villagers, the extra armour, and so yeah, they just beat those off. It looks like Unres probably gonna have a look what's going on down here now. He must realise that there's a gap. He probably doesn't need to send 4 villagers. Maybe he's just a little bit wary that another wave of hacks may come forward. And I feel like Popeye must be going to the Bronze Age now. Yeah, let's just collect it. Just because he wasn't producing any more military units, he is forcing 1 villager idle in the TC. Looks like Unres going for another push forward. Does catch out a villager on the berries. I think most of these should be able to jump into the TC. There's quite a lot of, bowmen in defence. And it looks like actually we're going to be doubling up here. Maybe they can just try and quickly take down the tower. Maybe they're just going to focus down the TC. That said, there are quite a lot of villagers in here. It would be quite good to maybe cover off this. I think that'll be the retreat route towards the tower. I guess they don't want to stand underneath the tower range. Maybe it's just going to go through. Maybe delete the house and run through that way. How many slingers have we got? We've got 5 slingers from Unrestricted. I don't know if he has... Oh, he does have stone mining already in. I guess he was collecting... had quite a few villagers on that. Which have now moved off, actually. We're going to dive underneath the tower. Just try and get onto the wood line here. And, taking a few shots from the tower, but I think the tower's not going to be able to deal with this many units. And everything being under attack. Bongo under a huge amount of pressure. Here's Popeye, gets to the Bronze Age, and I think this may be GG called, as Vertex calls the 1 GG. And there we go, that's game 2, going in favour of Popeye and Unrestricted, and Popeye doing a very nice job against Vertex there. Like I said, he went for that double, well, he had that first barracks there, second barracks down, and Vertex maybe a little bit slower to get his first barracks up. Again, Phoenician's quite nice in the early phase of the game with their nice strong wood eco. Just helps out every sort of strategy you want to go for. And Unrestricted with the 16 vil push as well. Managed to get the advantage over Bongo. What's going on here? Okay, it's just a few villagers just grabbing some extra resources at the back. And yeah, I think he went forward to build these barracks, but Unrestricted was already on his base, I think, before he could really take advantage of that. Yeah, because there was a couple of initial units coming out. At this point, he'd already lost the villager over here. Some villagers forced idle, and the tower was put up as well. And Unrestricted already started building walls. There was the little issue with the little channel at the back here, but with needlework and a couple of axes don't really do too much. And yeah, Vertex trying to fight those axes without the needlework. You can just see how tanky that unit is before needlework comes in. And this is obviously why we added needlework to the game, because that's 12 villagers there. And this Axa managed to get 2 kills by itself there, and Vertex forced to retreat. Yeah, nice, solid game from Popeye, and Unrestricted as well, to be fair. So 1-1. And let me get back to the main menu so I can get into the next game when that launches. That adds a bonus for eco plus X% starting resource. Oh, it actually gives you more starting resources as well. I didn't realise that. So, oh, it's villager HP, gather rate, building speed. Percentage more bonus damage for counter units. I feel like that's probably not going to do much in AoE 1, just because the values for counter units aren't that high. I'm trying to think of it. I guess maybe like for catapults against buildings and stuff. But like, because the Axa bonus is only, what is it, +4 against cavalry, so you'd have to have, I guess if you had a 25% handicap, then you get an extra 1 bonus damage then. So, but yeah, I think the main thing is obviously the extra resource gathering's the strongest part, really, and the military production speed as well. Just lets you get those units out a little bit faster. So yeah, obviously, it's hard to tell how much of that there was. If it, I mean, like, I feel like it was just a really solid push from Popeye. Obviously, he was benefiting from the 10% handicap. It's hard to say. It's hard to say how much work the handicap's doing that. But like I said, I think Vertex and Bongo definitely had weaker civs that time, given the map. Because in the first games, the Latvia and the Yamato, very nice. Looks like we are just waiting for Bongo to join the lobby. Just reading some messages on the Discord. That's a good point. Well, obviously, they were asking about resource collection, and I was maybe going to go back and check. But obviously, Popeye's is going to have the most. He had the most villagers at the end. Looks like Bongo is just maybe going for a quick bathroom break. And he will be back with us shortly for Game 3. I guess we can put the music back on for the time being. Oh no, he's just literally as I press play, he joined the lobby. Maybe I should try doing that earlier. I guess I'll take a quick swig of my drink before the game begins. So if I understand correctly, I think they just take the maps they've played out of the pool. So we've had Hill Country and Highland already. It's either that or if they get it again, they're allowed to call restart. I can't remember exactly what the rule was. Yeah. Okay, so they're sort of just having some messages on the Discord. It's only Popeye that has the handicap. It's remove. Yeah, that makes more sense. I feel like because they're only picking from like a selection anyway, so just take it out. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was going to look at the map pool. That's what I was going to do. So the map pool is, I believe it's 10 maps. So we've got Alliance, Citadel, Coastal, Highland, Hill Country, Inland, Inside Out, Mega Random, Oasis, and Sahara. So we only really have one water/hybrid map, which is Inland. A lot of people, there are quite a few people that don't particularly like the water maps in AoE1 just because, as I've said before, it's kind of just, often it just comes down to who can get the bigger mass of scout ships out in the early game. We did see in one of the series from the replays yesterday, Genie trying to utilise the extra bonus damage on towers against ships, but I think they got a little bit too far behind on the water. Actually, the game has started, so we will mute the music again and we'll get on in the game. Oh yes, so it always asks me to like load up the mod pack every time I join the game, which kind of, I mean, I guess it's like an alternate game mode, so it makes sense that I'd have to load it up each time. Where's my capture age? Here it is. So we are on Inland. I like how Vertex has to ask what the map is every time. I feel like when you're loading into the game, it tells you what the map is. Maybe I'm wrong when it's not a set pick map. Maybe it just says like custom map pool or whatever it says. They can double me this time. Well, I didn't see the whole of everything that was said there because I was having a look at the mini map. But let's have a look. So like I said, Inland, and we have Popeye on the Hittites, who can utilise their +1 range bonus quite nicely in the bottleneck that is the rivers, if you can get yourself set up on the water nicely. Actually, Bongo is, so he's got an enemy on his own island here, but Bongo is on the Minoans, so quite nice for Bongo here, getting the Minoans. Obviously the cheaper docks and ships, going to be pretty nice for him, especially because he's got these sort of nearby fishing pools. There's not a huge amount of fish in here. That said, but this bigger pool here's got quite a bit. Yeah, you can see how many. Oh, I selected the house there. 4,500 foods worth, but yeah, weird. Vertex having a look around. I don't know why he's going down here. I don't know what he thinks he's gonna find. But yeah, anyway, sorry to focus back on Palmyrans for Vertex this time. And Egyptians for Unrestricted. So obviously, Bongo, probably the best civ for this map. Sometimes you don't have like rivers in the middle on Inland, sometimes you just have these pools on the edge, but it's still nice to have that cheaper dock and cheaper ships, like I said. Also, the cheaper dock bonus is the team bonus of Minoans, so Vertex will be able to take advantage of that as well. Palmyrans, like I said, I've argued in the past before, I'm not as big of a fan on hybrid maps or water maps for the Palmyrans, just because obviously their better eco bonus doesn't apply for to the fishing ships, so you're not getting as much value out of the Palmyran bonuses there, in my personal opinion. But yeah, Unrestricted and Vertex sort of have their own little islands here. And Unrestricted, unfortunately, doesn't have like a private pool to himself, because those are a lot nicer to have for just having your fishing boats just in there, and then you don't need to worry too much about scout ship raids in the Tool Age, because obviously if Unrestricted puts a dock here, any fishing boats are vulnerable to anyone building a dock on all of this area here, depending on who gets control. We do have a crossing either side here and here. Actually, there's one up here as well, so quite a few crossing points. Ooh, early villager from Popeye has been caught out, so it looks like Popeye's initial try and again going for an aggressive play, but it's not going to work out for him this time. Tool Age is clicked. Villager count, and only 1920 coming in now for Bongo. Sorry, Vertex. So actually, Vertex going for 20 pop with the Palmyrans, interestingly. It's going to pull another villager here. I'm surprised Popeye hasn't put a barracks down at home somewhere during this time. It's not actually got the resources. So, oh no, okay, he's put the barracks down here instead, interestingly. And these shallows can make things a little bit awkward, because obviously you can get round wider places. I don't know if Popeye's going to try and sort of close this off. Obviously, he's still open this side, but that gives him at least one flank of his base that he can defend somewhat more easily. Double forward barracks for Unrestricted, though, in the meantime, as Vertex actually set himself up on the water. So Vertex, 20 pop up with the Palmyrans is a little bit greedy. Maybe he is just going to try. I mean, yeah, it feels like he's just going for the full eco approach. He's got a lot of villagers on wood, so it looks like he's trying to set himself up for the fish economy. Maybe another dock and some scout ships. But I think he may not have time to do this. He's going for the house walls for the time being, as he's still a little way. Oh, okay, he's not too far off Tool Age. I presume he's going to research wall straight away. Or not, as the case may be. He's just going to rely on the houses for the time being. But yeah, he's got a fairly easy to wall off base for the time being. With Unrestricted triple barracks, adding in slingers here. So, again, Unrestricted going for an all-in play. Actually, he is actually adding in extra villagers this time. As Bongo has... Okay, so this feels a little bit more similar to the series from yesterday, where he's sort of just walling himself up, going for the eco approach. Popeye is about to finish building a dock on this water as well, though, so this water is going to be contested. It's one of the things, obviously, Bongo doesn't 100% know where Popeye is, or if that pool was linked to where he is. Obviously, it's going to be a lot more safe around here, but like I said, there's not as much food in that there. But let's have a look at the push here. As Unrestricted, he's not got the stone mining in just yet. I suspect, okay, has got the market. Looks like it just got finished there. Maybe stone mining comes in somewhat soon. The walls are up, but if the slinger mass continues to increase, the walls will be under a bit of pressure. Bowman defense, and it looks like Vertex and Bongo just both going for a sort of defensive play, the long game approach. Obviously, like I said, Palmyran Minoans have the sort of a bit of an eco edge thanks to the fishing, and then just the Palmyran gathering bonus. Again, like I said, the fishing ships are just generic for Palmyrans, but the rest of the villages are all working quite nicely. But yeah, again, slinger mass as stone mining just comes in is going to be very threatening now. Bowman goes straight down, single slinger there, and Unrestricted going to start trying to hammer his way through. I was going to say the barracks, but he actually switched his focus to the wall. I think he'll be able to crack through fairly soon. Popeye also just going to take down a house for the time being, and it looks like yeah, scout ships are going to come out. So these fishing. Okay, scout ship in defense from Bongo as well, so he's alert to what's going on. Bowman going to take out a fishing boat there. That's a little bit unorthodox. You don't have to a counter attack actually. I've just noticed one villager goes down. Unrestricted fairly quick to pull those units back in though. And they must have just slipped straight through there. I don't think that was... maybe that was a ship over there, I don't know exactly. Might missed some it, but yeah, Woodline forced to run. It looks like maybe that's a distraction villager. I think if I was unrestricted, I might have sent that villager up that way. Ooh, don't want to trap your villagers on the little peninsula there. There he is. Maybe he wasn't controlling that at all, it was just doing its own thing. The bow goes down, but yeah, Slinger mass is in, and the Woodline is under threat. Scout ships are here, and 5 damage on those is quite high for ranged units, but Slingers, obviously, with their 3 pierce armor, can resist quite a lot of that. Another barracks going down behind. But Vertex, like I said, maybe a little bit of a greedy early game. And let's have a look. Scout ships on the water now as well. And Popeye does have the numbers advantage, but he doesn't feel confident enough to try and push forward. I think he must have taken down a couple more fishing ships, because I feel like there was maybe... I know he took that one down with the Bowman. A couple very highly damaged. And so Vertex is in the pool here, but again, not... Okay, actually that's more food than I thought. I swear when I collect this before it was only like 500, but now it seems to be way more in there. Anyway, Unrestricted still hammering away. Does have a dock down now. Maybe we're going to get that villager to repair the scout ship a little bit, and he should be able to win that fight now. It looks like Vertex does manage notice that and pull that away. Bongo looked like he was potentially going to push forward the scout ships, but it's going to be interesting to see how the fight on the water goes. Obviously the Minoan scout ship's much cheaper, so it should be easier for Bongo to mass those up. A few units going down here or there. Ooh, it looks like these slingers are going to be trapped in the corner. Axes going to be able to close the gap, do a decent amount of damage. I think this is going to be swept up. So Vertex did manage to get those axe numbers up and is going to secure himself in his current position. And okay, fight on the water now, and Bongo pulling away the odd scout ship here and there. Feels like a war galley here now. You hadn't even noticed Popeye again first up to the Bronze Age, and that's going to be a huge swing in his favour. War galley just so much stronger than the scout ship. So yeah, Popeye again getting himself up nice and quickly to that Bronze Age. And looks like, let's have a look at the resources. Okay, Bongo does actually have the resources to go, it might just not have the buildings yet. Unrestricted looks like he's going to be trapped in the Tool Age for quite some time as another counterattack comes in. Oh, Bongo was already up on the way to Bronze Age, that makes more sense. And so, are we going to see a transition into attacking on the sea? The land, sorry, not the sea. I'm sorry, I was reading like I read you got sea on there and then said it. But yeah, like I said, Unrestricted kind of doesn't really... Okay, he's going to try and set himself in this pool here. I was going to say he's kind of being denied from being able to fish on the water. As the Egyptians, he does have those cheaper farms, so it's not too bad to... Well, as bad to be forced into doing that. Extra TC's just going up for Bongo now. So he's just going to try and build up behind his walls and force his opponent to make a play. Popeye, though, he is getting those incredibly powerful Hittite chariot archers out onto the field. +1 attack makes this unit very deadly. Just one axe there just still being a little bit annoying for Unrestricted. Like I said, Bongo losing control of the water on this side. Does still have this little pocket left here. And still some food in there, but now it is actually getting to the point where it's starting to run out. About 450-ish food left. Vertex has managed to get control on this side, and Vertex getting gold mining, so I guess he must be on the way up as well. Yep, 88% there. There's Unrestricted anywhere near himself. It's only 200 food, and potentially Popeye might need to sling Unrestricted some food. Otherwise, we might be in a little bit of trouble. I got Popeyed. Oh, and here come, and he is about to get Popeyed. The chariot archers coming in. But yeah, as Vertex sort of says, Unrestricted is quite far behind in the game. But also, I don't really know what's going to be able to contest this massive chariot archers now. It's already 24 on the field, 13 in the queue. And improved bowman, composite bowman nearly in for Bongo, so there's extra range on that Noah compies. But I don't think he's ever going to get that massive units up. And like I said, Unrestricted I think is going to be trapped. Okay, he does actually have the food now. But it's going to be a while before he can get himself to the Bronze Age. And I think Bongo is going to start taking some heavy losses here. Is he sending the villagers? I thought he was going to try and attack the chariots there. He does have the melee armor in. Composite bowmen are quite a cheap unit, but it's like I said, you kind of need to get that mass. And Unres kind of been a little bit unhelpful, I would say. Let the man focus on his game. But yeah, he's pulling the villagers, but like I said, there's the +2 armor in, so the villagers shouldn't be able to do too much damage here. I can imagine he probably has needlework, and actually he does have needlework in. So they are doing 2 damage each. There's 70 HP chariot archers though. There's still going to be quite a few villagers killed. And that said, Bongo is on 42 vil still. And again, Bronze Age nearly in for Unrestricted. Popeye coming to the defense of his ally here. So I think this game is going to be a little bit more back and forth. Wolf getting involved there. Actually managed to take out a compy. And it looks like, yeah, we go, another push coming through from Popeye. So he's here, there and everywhere. Chariot numbers up to 30. Bronze Age finally in for Unrestricted. And Popeye again doing work. He's where he needs to be for the Hittites. Still adding in extra villagers. I think he's still... Oh no, he's on 2 TCs now. Often with the Hittites you can just go for that 1 TC and then just keep pumping out the chariot archers. Bongo has a reasonable mass of compies now, and Popeye might want to get nobility in because he's going to lose that wave of chariots. And maybe we see a push on to Vertex now. Vertex does have the War Galleon as we have a pause. Hopefully it's only momentary. Hi Jesse, how you doing? Oh yeah, nobility has been clicked now. So get a little bit of extra HP on those chariots. And Popeye might want to think about getting a siege workshop down. Those Hittite stone throwers with extra HP. Another nice bonus to the Hittites there, but also a very good unit to try and take out big clusters of composite bowmen. Yeah, maybe. Does he have the spare wood? He does have enough wood for another couple of archery ranges, so maybe Popeye could get another couple of archery ranges down. Yeah. It's a little bit tight for food, but obviously he's got quite a lot of chariot archers in queue still already. Hopefully this pauses. Okay, there we go. Again, I'm not sure if Unrestricted is being the most helpful as Popeye is kind of doing the heavy lifting in this particular game. Come with 20 cav. Yeah, some cavalry are coming in now, +4 attack. And +4 armor is coming in for Popeye, so he does nearly have those upgrades in. And before you can get to the Iron Age and Ballistics, cavalry can be a bit of a nuisance to try and track down. And I think Unres basically needs to start building. I think Unres should probably go camels, to be honest. I think double chariot archer's not the play here. I think Unrestricted should just play camel here. He's got himself on gold now. Maybe he's going to try and add in some priests, is the plan with the gold. I'm not seeing a temple as the game gets a little bit laggy. Maybe he's built them somewhere else. But yeah, camel's already out from Bongo. Palmyran, I think it's Palmyran. Is it Palmyran that gets the +1 pierce armor, or is it the faster? I always get confused between the Cimmerian camel bonus and the Palmyran one. I think the Palmyran's the +1 pierce armor, which obviously makes him a little bit more resistant to the chariot archer. In fact, we can literally check. Yeah, but no, it must be the faster ones then, because they don't have any pierce armor. But that's still pretty good bonus for the camels, because it means they can close the gap on the chariots a lot better. But yeah, these cavalry units being quite pesky. And again, I'm not sure what this gold is for from Unrestricted. Okay, temples are going down now. But like I said, I think I would have preferred to see Unrestricted go for the camel himself. He said several times, you saw in the chat, that they were expecting the cavalry to come forward, so it would have been logical. Yeah, the speedy Palmyran camels. Like I said, I always get confused between the Palmyran and Cimmerian bonus. But yeah, there should be enough chariot archers to take down. And yeah, okay, stone thrower out now as well. So Popeye doing the things he needs to do. Priest obviously going to be a decent match into the cavalry as well. So yeah, it's just these blinking lights down here. It's just the barracks that keeps kind of distracting me. But I'm not sure why Popeye isn't just kind of taking this head on. Like you can see, there's the 4k HP to the 1k, and I think Popeye's not careful. He's going to just lose this stone thrower instantly, just because he's not. Okay, he's going for the big flanker route, get himself up on top of the hill, and I think we just let open fire, let them do their thing. The Hittite chariot archers. 22 to 43. Stone thrower shooting now. It's going to give Bongo a bit of headaches. He's got under scatter formation, which is nice to see. There's quite a lot of players that don't utilise the AoE2 formations in Return of Rome, but it does spread your units out a little bit more. Stone thrower did get taken out, but ultimately Popeye is going to win this exchange. And looks like Unrestricted getting all the upgrades for his chariot archers now. He must have got a conversion at some point as well. That priest does go down. Again, I think I would have preferred to see like a mixed composition. So not both players going for chariot archer. But obviously, Egyptians do still have very strong chariot archers themselves, which is why Unrestricted is going for that. But it's just can have a little bit of a hard time dealing with all these units here. A lot of these, it's just a whole bunch of archery ranges for Vertex. So he's going to transition into maybe chariot archer of his own, unless he's on the way to Iron Age potentially. I don't know. Doesn't look like he is just yet. Lots and lots of Egyptian temples though. Priest numbers only at 2 at the moment, but 12 in the queue. And let's have a look, see where are those. I think potentially Popeye could maybe be doing a little bit more with his chariot archer mass here, but he's just trying to clear up the forward. And how many compies have we got back at home? 19 to the 36. Maybe Popeye is going to the Iron Age actually. Ooh, he is going to get a bit of a raid in the back of his base. Unrestricted is chasing down. And yeah, Iron Age is coming in. Just because the chariot arch production has stopped, so I thought that maybe that's where all the food had gone. Quite a lot of wood in the bank. Probably needs to try and get a few more farms down maybe. Hittite's the only sim in the game that don't get fishing. Ship upgrade. But again, this is where I would have liked to have seen the camels, just because then it would have been easy to sort of chase these down. But those Palmyran Camel's slippery eels. Ooh, this stone throw is unfortunately going to get caught out of position. Does get a couple of kills. And another TC. Ooh, sneak TC by Bongo. That feels a little bit brave to go in there. But Iron Age is in for Vertex actually first before Popeye. We're having a tower off. I hadn't noticed at this point. Unrestricted still in the bronze. Bongo on the way up actually. Let's have a look, see. Doesn't look like he is on the way up. Let's have a look. Whole bunch of priests though. Gonna probably force Vertex away. And guard tower upgrade coming in. And it's Unrestricted going to be able to get down maybe a siege workshop to try and push this back. At the moment it looks like he's just continuing the pump with the chariot archers. Alchemy ballistics coming in for Popeye. Again, what I feel like Popeye maybe isn't doing enough here with the chariot archers. It feels like he had quite a big advantage and he's sort of let his opponents build up a big mass again. 42 Minoan compies. Maybe he was just thinking he wanted to wait for the Iron Age upgrades. Popeye could potentially start adding in horse archers. He does have the resources to do so. Bongo does have the high ground here. I think this should still go in favour of Popeye though. Just with the sheer mass of units. Have a look back down here. Guard tower in now and it catapults out. Obviously the priest can try and convert and that does get, that's gonna gets to the catapult he needs, although quite a lot of fire from the guard tower is gonna pin that unit down. Yeah, these guard towers being very annoying to deal with. Engineering coming in for Popeye now and catapult upgrade as well. And do we see the push now from Popeye? And big massive fishing ships of Vertex there. And it's actually Vertex who's going to go for the horse archer first. Very powerful Iron Age unit. And how many priests have we got? We've got 15 priests still. I think they're going to struggle a little bit under all these towers. Bongo telling Vertex to go for Scythe. Scythe is quite a slow upgrade to tech into as well as expensive, but obviously once you get it, Side Chariot, very powerful unit. Yeah, Unrestricted, again, maybe needs a siege workshop to just try and start pushing the tower line back. It's getting conscription. There's Popeye. Where are the chariots? Just fighting the triremes. This isn't a good fight. I said in the series before, you don't really want to fight water units with land units. They just have so much more damage and HP, 12 and 200. Nobility finally coming in for Bongo. And like I said, he's on the horse archers for the moment. I think he's going to be transitioning into the side chariot from the stables. Still no siege workshop from Unrestricted by the looks of things. So he's going to be kind of strangled out of the game by these towers if he's not too careful. 64 Vils, quite far behind every other player at the moment. And let's see if the chariots can do it. It's only 22 chariots. Looks like Popeye did start trying to make the horse archer. He's not really using his resources here. Popeye trying to focus, I guess, on the fights. And it's going to be a big hit from the catapults there, which is going to be quite nice. A lot of conversions coming through from the Egyptians as well. And that fight actually went pretty favourably for Popeye and Unrestricted. I think Popeye's going to get a little bit trapped here, though. He's just going to try and run from this fight at the moment, though. Which, he's going to be able to do so. Horse archers probably going to be able to pick off the catapults here. And Priest's going to try and convert. Okay, that Strymon just got absolutely annihilated there. But yeah, these towers, just a huge issue for Unrestricted now. He's probably going to have to completely evacuate out the top. You can see he's moving his eco top ways. Scythe Chariot is in now though for Vertex. And I think Unrestricted is going to struggle at this point. Obviously the Scythe Chariot's resistant to conversion. Going to be able to pretty easily close down the distance on those priests. Going to be some good hits though from the catapults. Horse archers might be able to clear this up to try and defend the catapults. One does go down. Fishing ships get absolutely annihilated. Oh no, it's going to lose all these catapults to just a handful. Heavy catapult does come in. There's a few heavy horse archers, sorry, coming to the rescue. But again, Popeye just needs to get more units on the field. A little bit thin on the ground for food. But yeah, just needs to get that unit mass up. Just 28 compies, but a whole lot of catapults for Bongo, and he's starting to push forward himself. Again, Vertex just all over. He's even walled in the gold here.
Food, please.
And Bongo asking for a bit of food. I'm actually a bit surprised Bongo didn't set himself up on the water here, but let's get back to the action. And again, Unrestricted, where is he now? Trying to convert triremes again. Looks like he's got a few conversions there, but the Scythe Chariot spam is in full flow now. Yeah, Palmyrans, I think they do miss the Metallurgy tech, but Scythe Chariot's still just a very powerful unit in general. Priests forced to run. But yeah, still just yellow guard towers all over Unrestricted's base, and yeah, he has finally been forced up to this section of the map here. Like I said, maybe a siege workshop could have slowed this down and given Unrestricted a lot more space to work with. Down to 17 villagers now. Popeye, like I said, I mean, he's just added 45 to the queue. I think maybe Popeye was focusing on the fights too much and neglected his production. Just doesn't have the military units on the field that he needed. Looks like they're probably going to try to hold for one last time. But, I mean, you can see the number of TCs all the players have. But Unrestricted basically completely locked out. Does he have any resources left? Not really. Has some wood, but needs food at this point. Few chariot archers left for Unrestricted. Not really going to be able to do much against the Scythe Chariot at this point, where at the beginnings of the horse archers, here they are. I don't know if Popeye can potentially get himself up to heavy horse anytime soon. He does, yeah, he has loads of resources. Like I said, Popeye unfortunately just wasn't getting those units pumping out in the field. I think he's going to lose most of these catapults here. Scouts in just to snipe down the catapults. Just acts as a bit of a meat shield for the compies and the catapults behind. Big mass of horse archers now. So Popeye finally with some units on the field for himself. He's going to try and fight up against the triremes again. I don't like this idea. He's just asking for trouble. He needs to fight the units on the land where he can. Unrestricted. Basically completely out of the game at this point. Trireme support can act as a big fire platform. Yeah, the scythes are going to get in before the gates can come up. Unrestricted not quite able to close that off. And I think this is going to be a flood of Scythe Chariots into the back of Popeye's eco. He does have... Oh, he's going to take another hit from the catapult before it goes down. But yeah, unfortunately Popeye just a little bit too slow to get that mass going. And now it's basically just 2v1 with Unrestricted more or less being completely out of the game. Literally only 3 villagers remaining. Triremes, like I said, coming forward. 42 Scythe Chariots now. Looks like Bongo is taking the brunt of the horse archers as his military count is slowly dwindling. Popeye, I thought maybe he was going to try and bone down the catapults there. He is trying to snipe off. Good movement away from the catapult fire. It's going to take a hit there though, and a whole clump of horse archers go down. And like I said, these scouts just a nice little mix in to just act as to absorb a few arrows, and GG's called by Unres. Like I said, Unres had kind of just been... Yeah, it is a little bit hard once you lose the water to get control back. And the triremes, like I said, huge damage from the triremes. Popeye did well, but again, I think there was just that point in the sort of mid-Iron Age where he just had a lot of resources and he just wasn't spending them. I think maybe a little bit too much focus on the combat and not on the production behind it. So maybe Popeye could have, again, when he had that big massive chariot archers, maybe he could have done a bit more with this, because he won this fight here, and then he could have just pushed forward. I think he had Iron Age on the way in, possibly soon after this. But he didn't really push after he won this fight. Like I said, he just focused these buildings down, and then yeah, just pulled the units back as Iron Age came in. I feel like maybe you could do more. Like I said, maybe Unrestricted. Like I said, I feel like Unrestricted probably should have gone for the camel in the early Bronze Age. Like he kept saying in chat, that cavalry, he was expecting to be attacked by cavalry. And then that would have given Popeye and Unrestricted quite a nice unit composition of the chariot archers with the camels in front. But he elected to go with chariots of his own. And the priests, which the priests weren't a bad idea, but then obviously Vertex started pushing forward with the towers. And again, maybe Unrestricted could have put up a siege workshop to try and slow that down. And also, if you just had a few camels, it would have been easier to sort of snipe off the villagers that are sort of flooding the base. But yeah, like I said, I think there was... where was it? About here. But yeah, there's a point where just he had so many resources. Yeah, here we go. It's got 2k food, nearly 4k gold. Just isn't. It's making a couple of catapults, and that's it. Obviously, it gets stressful at this point in the game. There's a lot going on, but maybe Popeye kind of let that slip through his fingers there. And like I said, maybe a couple of different decisions made by Unrestricted with just the unit he went for might have helped him out a bit more. But GG's 2-1 to Bongo and Vertex, as we'll go into game 4. Looks like they didn't have Conquest victory on, actually. Yeah, he played pretty well early on. I think it was just when it got to that Iron Age, I think maybe he just got a little bit overwhelmed by everything. And again, I feel like he could have pressed a little bit harder after he won that fight with Bongo, where he cleared up all those compies. But I guess he was just thinking, get up to Iron Age, get those techs in, and then push. But yeah, I think maybe if he looks at sees that back, he'll know that he had the advantage there. It's obviously much easier for me to say because I can see everything that's going on. But Popeye did know that he'd won that fight. He cleared up about 25 compies, so he should have probably known that he would have had some sort of advantage. He could have pushed that. But again, I think the thought process was, I've got the resources to go Iron. I'll just go up to Iron, get the Iron Age techs, and then use that. But again, maybe let that game slip through his fingers a little bit. Hittite's very, very strong in the later phases of the game, just because of those archery range units and the catapults, two of the strongest units in the game. But the Hittites just so happen to have bonuses for both of those things. And yeah, I think once Vertex got that Scythe Chariot upgrade in, you can just start spamming Scythe Chariots forever at that point, and it was always going to be a bit difficult. And yeah, those basically completely nullifying all the small army that Unrestricted did have. So game 4 of the series, all the players are in the lobby, so we should have game 4 underway fairly quickly, and we'll have a look-see when that does kick off. Maybe I'll start playing the music again and they'll start playing. I feel like this should be fairly quick. I'll just have a quick check of the Discord, actually, see if anyone just... Okay, yeah, I think they're more or less ready to go. Brutal towers. Yeah, once those towers get set up in your base, it's very hard to deal with them. Like I said, I feel Unrestricted could have maybe put down like a siege workshop and had made a couple of catapults to just slow that down, give himself a bit more space. Because Unrestricted was basically forced to go full migration and lost control of all the map. Okay, looks like game 4 is underway, so let's get us straight in. And what is our 4th map going to be? It is going to be Oasis, so the very open Oasis map. We'll see what the civs are here. Vertex on the Shang is what I'm seeing straight away. Bongo on the Macedonians. Bongo on the Macedonians. Vertex on the Shang. Popeye on the Babylonians, and then the Hittites for Unrestricted this time. And yeah, I think Vertex on the Shang is definitely the big standout. Some little snide remarks in the chat. Didn't even sleep. But yeah, Babylonians quite decent on the more closed maps, but I feel like they're still a little bit lacking on the more open maps. They do get the cheaper market techs, which do save you a small number of resources, but market, you only ever build the market like midway into the tool age anyway, so like the very initial part of the game you basically don't really have any real bonus. Obviously you get the stronger walls and stronger towers and the extra pierce armor on your chariots. I feel like Babylonians need like just some extra something of a bonus in the earlier game to sort of help them a little bit. They're much more well-rounded civ in RTR than they were in DE, just because of that side chariot bonus. All the chariot bonus of pierce armor gives them like a nice power unit to lean into. But yeah, compared to some of the other civs, still feel a little bit behind. Mace, as I've said before, is an interesting civ. You do get the extra line of sight bonus, which gets you that extra exploration, but otherwise no real eco bonus, just a bunch of other military bonuses that you rely on. And it looks like, yeah, Bongo going for the big sweeps, trying to find those elephants. Let's have a look. There's a couple on the top side here, which unfortunately is not going that direction. Yeah, so the nearest ones were this top side. These ones a little bit further away on the top, left side here. And Unred's going to be able to find a couple of elephants for himself there. It looks like he already found one there as well. But no Persians on this map. There was in the series played yesterday, I think. In the 2 different series, I think someone got Persians both times. Or maybe Oasis was only played once, actually. I'm trying to remember exactly. There was definitely one time Oasis and Persians happened yesterday. It's usually Yamato and Persians are considered the best civilizations on Oasis, just because they have the... Well, Yamato cheaper scouts and cheaper stable, and Persians faster food and fast stable. But Shang can pull off a good scout rush as well, just because, as you say, save quite a lot of food. It looks like Vertex already on the way up. 21 villages actually for Vertex, interestingly. So maybe it looks like maybe he's still going to get the same sort of time up as everyone is on the way to tool age now. Maybe Popeye a little bit ahead. I think, yeah, just narrowly ahead is Popeye getting to the tool age. Obviously, the 10% handicap helping it out a good amount to get that clean early game. Barracks. A little bit weird to go this far into the corner, I would say, unless he was just trying to focus on keeping them hidden and out of the way, as his forward did get a bit stymied last game. But it's very rare for your opponent to be in the sort of corner area. So I think I would have preferred to see Popeye go just straight down here and maybe build in this area here. Looks like we have a forward much more on the face of Unrestricted here. He's built his barracks a little bit far back there. That's not going to help for those early clubbers. He's not even actually making any clubbers here. So yeah, Unrestricted. Ooh. Yeah, I think Bongo wouldn't have been seen there. Obviously, his Macedonian bonus applies to all melee units, so these clubbers have a little bit extra line of sight. I think Unrestricted. Yeah, archery range at the back as well, and that's going to leave the town centre completely exposed. And needlework is coming in. Axe upgrade not quite in yet for Vertex. In fact, she's not actually researching it yet. Armour just come in now. And needlework is now in, so Unrestricted should be able to fight this off. Some axes from Popeye here. One villager is going to go down. Another villager I think is going to go down here as well. This is a little bit sloppy from Unrestricted, I would say. Normally he's pretty good at pulling those low HP villagers away. Axe are going to be in now, and Unrestricted is not making any military units. Does he not have the food? He's got 100 food, which is enough for a couple of units. But he's been forced to abandon. He's always trying to go for fast bronze. That's why. Trying to get to that Hittite chariot archer. That's a very, very risky strategy. He's going to sell. Oh, he's found an elephant. If he can find this other elephant here, he actually might be able to. Oh, he does see the other elephant over here. So that might be his saving grace. Let's have a look topside here. Tower already up on the wood line. Quite nicely positioned. Maybe if we could get a little bit of a wall in here. I don't know if that's intentional to gather the stone there. Or if that was just like from the placement of the storage pit. Let's go back over this side. Looks like that actually got taken care of. I mean, I was going to say Bongo managed to take down the TC, but I think Unrestricted is near enough to the Bronze Age that he is going to get up there. Whether or not he's in any real position to take advantage of that. The market is down. Does he have the resources? He doesn't quite have the food he needs to get the wheel in. Is the main issue. Like I said, he does have that other elephant. So he's going to be able to... I mean, does he see this elephant here? He doesn't quite see that. Bronze Age in, wheel coming in. Actually, wheel's half the price for Hittites, I've just remembered. As well as twice as fast to research. Bongo going to take down a house. He does have a few axes still being annoying in his base, so needlework is in. Pops that villager into the TC nicely. So I think these axes from Vertex should be getting taken care of. But yeah, quite a lot of units from Vertex now. Slingers as well. Stone mining coming in as 2. That elephant runs out. Unrestricted with the wheel in now. Maybe going to try and find some other... If he could find this here, that would be very nice for him. Just another storage pit going to go down for the time being. Does he have... He just has the singular archery range, I think, at the moment. And he's going to get out one chariot archer. Doesn't have the wood. And I think he's asking for some wood there. And 200 wood sent from Popeye. Popeye is... Let's have a look. 8 bowmen against 11, 12 from Vertex. Yeah, Shang. And he's up to 30 villagers as well now. Popeye is on 26, to be fair. Another watchtower going down in defence. It's a little bit on the low ground, but obviously I think he wants that a bit closer to his TC. And he does do quite a good job of picking off those axes. Oh, one hit left to kill that one. Chariot Archer probably going to get taken down by the Slingers if Unrestricted doesn't notice this. Okay, he does. Ooh, what's going on? Oh, another archery range down here. A little bit sneaky in the back. Villagers trying to beat back the Slingers. Slingers obviously with no melee armor. So you're going to take quite a lot of damage from the villagers here, especially when they've got the wheel in to quite easily close that distance down. But a few more villagers do go down. Chariot goes down. And you can see how much damage the slingers do to the chariot archers if you can close the gap. It's just whether or not you can actually close it. Bowman in on Popeye here though. And Popeye's going to lose a lot of villagers down to 22. Is Bongo or Vertex anywhere near going to bronze? No, it doesn't look like it just yet. Still just with the Tool Age aggression. Popeye down to only 4 military units. 3 chariot archers now in the back, and quite a few down to his 17 villagers now for Bongo. He's going to be forced to idle a whole bunch of villagers as well. I think he's got a bunch of houses over here. Okay, there we go. So few on the berries. So this is a very wild game. More towers going up for Popeye. I think he is going to manage to hold this for the time being. Vertex had that much bigger mass of bows. He's up to 38 villagers now as Vertex. And yeah, he looks like he's working his way up to clicking the Bronze Age. And can Unrestricted get enough damage done with these Hittite chariot archers before Vertex gets up to bronze? There we go, bronze is being clicked. And these chariot archers are a little all over the place. There's like 1 here, 2 here. Where are the other ones? There's 1 here. It's a good mass of slingers. If Unrestricted's careful though, he can just group together his chariot archers. Oh, he's going to take 5 from the slingers though. Absolutely crushed by that. And yeah, Unrestricted just still on a very limited number of villagers. Just doesn't really have the resources to get the chariot archers out onto the field. Let's have a look at Bongo's resources actually. Bongo's pretty slim pickings, yeah, down to 10 villagers, of course.
Yes.
And it kind of feels like Unrestricted and Bongo kind of traded themselves off at this point. As I mean, he still is in the Bronze Age, of course, as Unrestricted, but he just doesn't really have the eco income he needs. A couple of chariot archers being a nuisance now for Vertex. But again, Bronze Age very close to being in. I think Vertex, he's not paying full attention here. He's going to lose a handful of villagers. And we do have the +2 armor. But now Bronze Age is in. And Wheel. It looks like Vertex is... yeah, I was going to say, because he doesn't have a stable, so it looks like he was just going for the chariot arch, but he does put a stable down. So probably some cavalry going to come out into play. And that big massive slingers taking a big fight there on the top side. Didn't quite see. In fact, I might just skip back real quick to have a look at this fight here. Yeah, unfortunately, just out-slingered at this point. Pretty quick work for Bongo there. Get back to the live view.
Wood, please.
And yeah, Unrestricted still asking resources, but Popeye's kind of in troubles of his own. These 2 chariot archers did get picked off. Where are the remaining chariot archers? There's 2 here. There's 1 being a nuisance over here. But yeah, Popeye. Oh, he's got a good mass of axes, which if you can close that gap, but yeah, Bongo's just going to be able to kite this. This once the stone mining is in. Slinger mass is very, very hard to deal with. You basically need like a big mass of scouts, really. And Popeye, I don't think he's gonna have... He's not going to be able to get himself up to bronze anytime soon. And here we go, cavalry starting to hit the field. Only with a +2 attack at this point, but still very just a powerful unit in general. And no, looks like it isn't any... chariots. Maybe Vertex a few too many on gold. Doesn't really have the food to do much yet. I think that's meant to be bro, not brup. End him. But yeah, it's looking a little bit rough for Popeye and Unrestricted here. I think Unrestricted maybe lost a bit too much. I mean, actually, that said, it does have the 12 chariot archers now. but like they're just spread out all over the place. Okay, he does have a force of units here. He needs to use his range advantage against the slingers. I mean, yeah, if you can get all these into one place, maybe Unrestricted can use those Hittite chariot archers to bring his team back into the game. They do have a slight gold lead. And Unrestricted is up to 25 vils now. Bongo only on 13. He's kind of been locked out of his base by these random chariot archers that are just chilling. I guess maybe that was their main purpose. But yeah, again, slingers with only the 5 range compared to... I don't know if he'll have artisanship in, but it is 8 range even without that in. So slingers get swept up. Couple of cavalry units now. Looks like Vertex has kind of got his economy a little bit more balanced. Still a little bit too much gold. And 5 cavalry on the field. Just go slitting. I guess, yeah, he's stuck in the tool age, so that's probably the best he can do, really. Nah, I'm done. Fair enough, or not. Repairer is under attack. But yeah, maybe the chariot archers number. I was saying I didn't think Unrestricted kept the numbers up, but it looks like it has managed to rebuild. Obviously, once you got the wheel in as well, it's much easier to just run around and try and find places to get your eco back up and running. And it looks like these initial cavalry have mostly been dealt with. Vertex was a little bit slow because, like I said, he just didn't have the stable down. He's got a few stables now. I guess the other two maybe... Where are the other stables? Oh, they're down here. He's adding more stables in now. He does have 64 vil, so Vertex still is in a very strong spot. And maybe Vertex can just carry Bongo all the way here. But again, the chariot archer mass is increasing. Yeah, +4 armor is coming. I was going to say if Unrestricted can get that in, that would be very good for him. Vertex getting nobility in, though, fairly quickly now. Send some cav. I think Bongo just wants a bit of a clear up from his base. But yeah, can Popeye... Oh yeah, I was going to say, can Popeye get himself to Bronze Age? And he has done so. And what's going to be the unit of choice here? Archery range is going down. So are we just going to see the composite bowman from him? Go camel. That would be a good shout. Sold wood for gold. It's kind of funny that like Unres is telling him to go camel this game when Unres probably should have gone camel himself last game. But yeah, there's still a few cavalry units. Chariot archers, managed to jump through. Does have the +4 attack. And maybe Unrestricted can sneak in his own ability at some point, but if you can just... Ooh, okay. Going to melee form with the chariots here. I was going to say if you can keep at range, then the HP doesn't matter too much. Managed to snipe off that villager there. Handful of cavalry, going to try and mess up the eco. And it's just another storage pit. So, okay, it's the camels coming out from Popeye, which is, I think, the correct choice. Like I said, they're going to get that unit composition, which I feel like they probably should have had last game. But it's probably going to work quite nicely for, yeah, Bongo is just completely dead. Well, not completely dead, but he's only just adding in villages. Oh dear, maybe he is completely dead now. Back down to 12. He's not noticed yet, he does now. But that's going to be his entire eco... Another villager goes down as well. But yeah, pretty much the whole eco forced idle. And Camel probably going to lose to the 2 axes. Actually, no, it's taking a good trade. Maybe these axes aren't fully upgraded. Yeah, oh well, they got the tool age upgrades, of course. Another TC coming down for Unrestricted, and it looks like Unrestricted has got himself pretty much set up for the bronze. Obviously, Vertex still way ahead on the eco front, but just the 22 chariot archers from the Hittites. And Vertex being forced to go camels of his own now. And yeah, Vertex going to be forced into a 2v1 situation. You can see 28 to 11 on the military count. And +4/+4 in for Popeye as well. Urbanization coming in. You don't normally see that upgrade too much on the more open maps. It's usually a bit more easy to... I guess he probably had the spare stone because he was gathering it from earlier, so nothing wrong with that. Looks like Vertex trying to trap in the chariots here, but Unrestricted is just going to be able to run down south. Popeye is still only on 3 camels. Let's have a look, because he's a little bit thin for gold at the moment, whereas he's got mining some gold over here. Just needs to get his eco fully set up online. And Vertex, like I said, still in a pretty solid position, getting the +4 armor in for his cavalry as well now. But can Vertex do the 1v2? I mean, he still is half the military. And Unrestricted still running around. 12 villagers still garrisoning the TC. It might just be worth cracking the TC open. Yeah, I think this is the right move. And then just completely knock Unrestricted Bongo out of the game. And I think this is going to be basically Bongo defeated. That's the last of his villagers there. You can see the count: 3, 2, 1. He's dead. There goes the TC. No more villagers. And that's effectively Bongo defeated. Vertex still does have more villagers than his opponents combined. Ooh, there are a few cavalry in the back there, but yeah, the camels should be able to fend this off. I think as long as Popeye just keeps making camels and just sort of defends, Unrestricted should just be free to rain down the hurt with the Hittite chariot archers. And as I said, Unrestricted and Popeye getting that unit composition together that potentially they should have had it last game when Egyptians for Unrestricted probably should have made those camels. He's being forced to run a bit here. And Vertex actually adding in chariot archers of his own. Just try and make this a little bit more tricky. But obviously just the Hittite chariot archers just more powerful. And yeah, the camels continuing the chase. 4th TC being added in for Popeye. And again, Vertex doing the best he can. He has a lot of resources actually. He maybe needs to just get a few more stables down, pump a few more units. Maybe just make camels of his own. Cavalry do have that extra pierce armor, which sometimes can just make them a little bit more resistant. And what's the camel count? 7 camels. Popeye actually going for chariots. Obviously, like I said, the Babylonians do get the +1 pierce armor. So maybe not a bad shout now that Bongo is switching into the chariot archer. There is still a good number of cavalry on the field though, so I feel like just sticking with the camels would have been fine. And are any other players working themselves up to Iron Age? Maybe that's what Vertex was doing. Trying to look at his TCs, look for that gold shine. It doesn't look like he is. Looks like he's just spending all his food on those cavalry units. Let's have a look. I'm just trying to see if anyone is going for the iron. Unfortunately, you can't really see it in the team. Ooh, we're walling each other off. Interestingly, who's walling who here? Looks like Vertex has been pushed back from that wall attempt. Yeah, just a regular chariot being added in. And going to do quite well against the Chariot Archer, like I said, just because it has that extra pierce armor. And I feel like Unrestricted could be a little bit more aggressive in this position. I'm still a little bit nervous of all these Shang cavalry. Maybe he wants to actually kite a little bit more than this, though. And the military number is evening up, but now you can see Popeye and Unrestricted finally have taken... Okay, Iron Age was coming, I just couldn't find the TC that it was going up from. Now, Vertex should be able to get the heavy cavalry upgrade in, as well as ballistics and probably alchemy. But I think probably Vertex won't be able to hold this. Again, I'm just trying to see if even the other players trying to go for Iron Age. Medium wall for Popeye. Just trying to close this side of the map off again. Some temples coming down. Don't think that's the best call when your opponent's already got a good number of chariots on the field. But yeah, Popeye just kind of got a mishmash of different units here. Still picking off a few here and there. And the chariots defend me till iron. Okay, so Unrestricted is going to get himself to the Iron Age. Egyptians... sorry, aren't even in this game. What the hell am I saying? Hittites, obviously, going to be able to get access to their own horse archers, is what Shang is going for at the moment. Vertex on the Shang. But it is the heavy cavalry. And actually Cataphracts already coming in. Oh no, that is... Sorry, I got confused by that icon then. I thought that was the Cataphract symbol there for a second, but it was just heavy cavalry coming in. And we have the Vertex coming in with a raid, but yeah, Unrestricted should be able to hold this. And again, I'm just trying to have a look if Popeye is on the way up to Iron Age. There we go, he is on the way up to Iron Age now himself. Probably just Scythe Chariot for Popeye, I guess, especially because he's already transitioning into the chariots. Yeah, Vertex, again, still doing a very nice job playing 1v2. And I'm surprised he's managed to hold out for this long, to be honest. Looks like Popeye kind of abandoned the temple plan. Just going to keep walling up for the time being. And then I guess they'll push round from this flank once they're both in the Iron Age. Plus 6 armor coming in, catapult upgrade as well. No stone throwers out just yet, but you can see a couple of siege workshops here are going to start trying to push through the walls. Iron Age in for Unrestricted now. And ballistics coming in as well. Ooh, Unrestricted. Oh, sorry, that's Popeye that lost all of his chariot archers there. Unrestricted still trying to push back the raids. Heavy cavalry with 2 pierce armor in, much more resistant to that fight. Actually, Elephant Archer coming in. Personally, I much prefer the mobility of the Horse Archer, but obviously the Elephant Archer, very tanky unit, much more difficult to actually take down. And for the time being, if he's just trying to hold position, keep the defense going, it's not a terrible choice. Iron Age should be in. Oh, it is already in for Popeye here as well now. Again, Popeye's got a lot of resources, and he's not really spending them. So he needs, yeah, Scythe Chariot coming in now. And he needs to start getting that chariot production going. He's got a whole lot of stables. He just actually needs to start producing. Unrestricted with plenty of chariot archers. The elephant archers now coming out. But the push on the south side has started, and there's a decent mass of heavy cavalry down here, and Cataphracts upgrade is actually in now. So, and it looks like Popeye left a hole in the wall there, so that's going to be a little bit unfortunate. Again, okay, Popeye's finally queued up the chariots, although it looks like he cancelled that. What happened there? There we go. I'm not really sure what's going on with Popeye. Maybe he was housed and that's why it stopped. I'm not really sure. Vertex finding another batch of gold, which is going to be quite nice for him. And I'm sort of amazed that this game has managed to go on for this long. Cataphracts upgrade is in now. That's 3 pierce armor on this unit here. And horse archers have been, a few have been added, but elephant archers still seems to be the way Unrestricted is going. And but yeah, Cataphracts cracking through house wall. I don't know how long that'll last for. Feels that, yeah. Wait, there's literally just a hole there. You can just go straight through. It's open, dude. I mean, I guess that makes it more open. But yeah, this is gonna be big raid onto the base, but the scythes are ready. They are missing the last iron techs, but it's still gonna be able to do a decent amount of damage, I think. Where are the chariot archers? They're still in the base to defend Popeye here. And these elephant archers still sort of holding ground on the top side, the right side. I think the Cataphracts should be able to do a decent amount of damage here, but the assistance of the chariot archers from Unrestricted is probably going to stop the push from Vertex. But again, fifth is very even still. 45 Cataphracts out on the field. I think those units are quite spread out, but obviously Vertex having to fight on 2 fronts. Maybe he should have just gone for a bit more of a push on one side. And yeah, maybe he should have just taken the walls and pushed around the other side here. Horse archers are being added in now though. Do a little bit more damage than the elephant archers, and also, like I said, just much more mobile. I think Vertex is going to manage to crack through. Okay, wall going to go. Nope, not. I was going to say just up in time, but not quite. And look at all those scythes in the queue there. From the many stables. It's 25 stables on the field. And those do have the Iron Age upgrades in now. And Scythe Chariot coming in for Vertex. And he's pretty close to full pop. I imagine, yeah, that's about 230-ish out of the 250 he has available. Yeah, it should just be the fact that Popeye and Riz have basically, like I said, double the pop space once they get up, although Unrestricted is only at 120 pop at the moment. This doesn't really have the villager count maxed. And the cavalry, Cataphracts coming in the back. I think the Scythe Chariot should be more than enough to deal with this though. And Vertex still giving it his all. But big battle here on this side. But yeah, Popeye bringing his army through. Scythe Chariot should be able to act as a front line for the chariot archers. Yeah, I think Unrestricted doesn't quite have his eco sort of really set up properly yet, and obviously he's having to deal with all these small raids, which is kind of preventing him from getting his Iron Age units out that he wants to. He's only just getting gold mining now. It feels like a little bit of a mistake. He has plenty of his gold in his base to try and collect. Another raid on the left side, but Popeye still has plenty of scythes to come and deal with that. Yeah, maybe Popeye might want to try and close this off again. Those catapults, they're both from the right side here. But yeah, the Cataphract raids continue. And the Horse Archer mass is slowly building up fanaticism. So actually Popeye is now committing to the priests. How much gold do we have? 1,000 gold for Vertex, and that gold here is starting to run out. There's plenty of gold over here though. Wow, over 6,000 gold, so we're not worrying too much about that at the moment. Obviously Popeye and Unres could start trading if they feel they need the gold, but they're just going for the chariot units mostly at the moment. Although actually, that said, big whole bunch of elephant archers being queued up now. Yeah, again, it's just handfuls of cataphracts being a nuisance here and there. Scythe chariots are coming in for Vertex now. But, I mean, still amazingly, the pop is ridiculously close considering. I don't really know how Vertex has managed to keep this game so close for so long. And he's the one on the attack at the moment. You can see the score here. Way more than both his opponents. And, KD actually in his favour as well. I think now that Unrestricted is finally getting these Iron Age units massed up, that we should see the balance shift. Unrestricted still being forced to run his army around though. Well, the side chariots for Popeye are just chilling in the base at the moment. Maybe Popeye again, maybe he needs to be a little bit more active, try and help Unrestricted clean up, and then maybe also try and close this gap off. Maybe he's going to go for push actually instead though. But yeah, it looks like Vertex kind of just transitioning into side chariot. He's actually adding the Holopolis as well. I think with this many scythes though, Holopolis shouldn't be able to get too much done. Also, Holopolis not that great into elephant archers unless you can get a big mass of them up. Engineering coming in for Unrestricted. So maybe he's going to start getting those stone throws of his own out. And we do see the guard towers coming forward. And sneaky villagers just grabbing some gold. Oh no, those unrested villagers. This just building towers down in his face. There's guard towers are going to go up. So the Shang do lack the alchemy upgrade. So the tower's not quite as powerful as some other civilizations. And another huge pump of scythes. And it looks like Popeye's just being shut out here. But he's sending the next flood over this way. Again, and Popeye maybe just not quite getting his forces in the position they need to be in. Catapult coming out for Unrestricted, so this time he is going to have the siege to probably push back the towers. And Vertex basically pop capped at this point. Unrestricted now has got himself up over 100 vills. Popeye back under 100 himself though. Ooh, looks like there was a gap in the wall there. Vertex didn't quite close off. So we're now going to see a raid onto Vertex now. He may lose a good portion of his farm eco. Scythe chariots are here to defend. It's a fairly even fight. I think Vertex actually has a slight high ground advantage. It's very, very close though. I think, yeah, Vertex is going to take this fight. Obviously Popeye's moved a good chunk of his army around this side to help clear up. He's taking big hits from the catapults though. How many? Got 10 Holopolis at this point. I think these chariot archers should be able to just push through. What are we looking at? So 14, 16 elephant archers and the catapults coming out. Again, I prefer the horse archer personally, but elephant archer's a very sturdy unit. Try and get that line pushing back. Vertex still just got a huge pump of cataphracts going. 13 Holopolis. I think, like I said, the Holopolis don't manage to get much done. Towers are starting to be pushed back, and I feel like this may be the turning of the tide. As Popeye just keeps spamming those archers. Scythe chariots. I think Popeye kind of needs to get his villager back up again. Villager numbers back up again, I should say. Because he's sort of, I mean, he's got enough resources to keep pumping for the time being. But you basically just want that infinite spam. You can see occasionally just stops that pump. There we go, remembers again. But the Cataphracts pushing forward. And there's a good bunch of them all pushing in. Unrestricted is up to 160 vils now, but again, like I said, Popeye down to 80 vils at this point. Still a good number of vils, but needs to keep that pump going. Again, just needs to get these units engaged. Trying to micro the priest, or maybe not micro, but it looks like it's just right-clicking to see what we can do with the conversions here. I think there should be enough side chariots to just clear up pretty easily. Group of Cataphracts being chased around. Another push coming through on the left side here. I keep on saying south, but this is all south. So it was at the left side. And, there's a gap there. I think he would have to destroy some of those stables to get through, though. But yeah, this Cataphract's just being very pesky still. And we're over the 1 hour mark. It's kind of funny because Bongo's obviously just basically been out of this game for about 40 in-game minutes, maybe a little bit less than that, but for quite a long time. Yeah, these Holopolis don't. I feel like Holopolis need a little bit of a buff. They're not very strong unit, to be honest, quite expensive. They do a lot of damage, but they're just really, really easy to take out. And now, yeah, nearly double the number of military. I think this feels like, I mean, again, there's still that handful of Cataphracts, but now we're up to 31 chariot archers. The catapults have pushed back the guard towers. Popeye having a battle royale in the walls here. But I think this should be Popeye Unrestricted finally turning the tide. Again, Popeye's not pumping again. Seems like a bit of a weakness in this late game phase. I guess he's just focusing on the fights, like I said before. He's kind of lost that fight there again, though. I think Unrestricted should be able to start pushing out on the right-hand side. And all the priests are here to receive the Cataphracts. Maybe a little bit better target selection for the priest. I know it's a little bit difficult to micro, but you can see he's kind of just targeting the Cataphracts all of his priests. Yeah, down under 40 villages for Papa. Like I said, I feel like he should have tried to focus on getting that number back up. He's got enough food to make plenty of villages. Again, it might just be that situation. In fact, Hittites, yeah, I think Vertex is now sensing that this may be done. Like I said, the elephant archer numbers and also side chariot coming in for Unrestricted now. I think Popeye again maybe could have done a little bit more on his side if he just added some a little bit of a siege just to break through. But he's done enough to hold position, and Unrestricted is now, I feel like, taking command of the game here. And yeah, these elephant archers, pretty tough to deal with once you get them. I mean, to be fair, it's true of pretty much any ranged unit. Once you get a big mass of them, they're just very hard to approach. Unrestricted, sorry, Vertex still giving it a good go. He's down to 30 military now. Side chariots being pumped. It looks like he's run out of gold, so that big mass of gold here must have run out, it looks like. So there's some stone left over that potentially could sell. But yeah, trade carts. I was thinking, does Bongo have a market left? It doesn't look like he does, though. I mean, he could try and trade with his enemy, but that would be very ballsy. As we can actually see, Popeye's nearly reached through to the centre. In fact, he has actually opened up to the centre lake there. Unrestricted, putting some more stables down. So yeah, just continuing to pump those side chariots, getting Iron Age upgrades in for those units. And Again, Vertex still trying for the time being. But I think... Again, Popeye's still just not making... I mean, okay, he's actually used all his resources now, but... Again, I feel like he should have tried to get his villager number up. Like quite a while ago. I don't think it's going to matter here. Yeah. Maybe not the best decision making by Popeye. But yeah, the Elephant Archer mass, and now the Scythe Chariot numbers ever increasing. Cataphracts down to 2 left with only 1 in the queue. Scythe Chariots are being pumped. Is there a market I just haven't seen? Oh no, he does have the market still left. I just didn't see it before. He does have the market still left. So that's 81 gold. As he built the market up here, there we go. But unfortunately, Popeye is probably going to close this off. So I think those trade carts aren't ever going to finish their journey, unfortunately. As the Scythe Chariots are going to shut this down. Looks like Popeye has sniffed this out, interestingly, unless he maybe just wanted to explore the corner there. But yeah, well, here they come. The trade carts with that all-important load of gold. Unfortunately, they're going straight into the clutches. Popeye's Scythe Chariots. Okay, Popeye's just completely ignored him. Let him through. So actually, he's actually going to get the gold in. There it is. I think that's a moral victory for Vertex right there. I just noticed that Vertex like walled off all the wood line here. To what effect? I do not know. But again, I'm a little bit confused by Popeye's late game. It feels like he's just sort of letting Unrestricted do the work now. Bongo's just been sat here basically spectating with us. We should trade. I mean, all you need to make is Scythe. You just need some more villagers, my friend. Unlucky I was Shang. I mean, I guess Shang don't have, like, the strongest late game, to be fair. But yeah, Popeye, okay, he's finally rebuilding his eco, although only from 1 TC for some reason. But yeah, Unrestricted finally pushing through. And I think this is going to be GG. And that's going to bring us to Game 5 of this series. But yeah, valiant effort from Vertex. I think potentially Popeye probably could have done a little bit more in the late game. Felt like it was the Hittite Chariot Archers doing a lot of the lifting in this game, which then transitioned into the Elephant Archers and Scythes at the end. But yeah, if we go all the way back, all the way back, there was that point where Unrestricted went for the fast bronze. That's a little bit too far. Not far enough, actually. Unrestricted went for the fast bronze and was right on the limit. And I wasn't sure they were going to get away with this. But he did manage to get that massive Chariot Archers eventually up. Popeye did a good enough job of fending off Vertex. And then it was just those few Chariot Archers in the back that eventually, at some point, where is it? Started picking off of the villagers. And yeah, must have been some other point, because Bongo's already down to 12 at this point, so I don't know exactly where all the villagers were that got caught out. But yeah, Unrestricted did manage to get that mass built up eventually. In fact, it took a lot longer than, yeah, because it did take quite a while. But yeah, eventually got that mass up to clear up the slinger numbers, and then this was basically the end of Bongo's contribution to the game after this point. And then it was just a question of Vertex's eco boom, if that was going to be enough to overpower his opponents. But Popeye's mid game, again, like, I feel like it took him a while because he's going those camels. It took him a while to get in the game. Like I said, I feel like it was those Hittite chariot archers, like I said, really keeping them in the game. That because it took Popeye quite a while to get the numbers up, and Vertex was just ahead for a long time. And then yeah, this was where Unrestricted basically defeated, for all intents and purposes, Bongo from the game. Technically he was still in because he had the market and the barracks, because obviously if you've still got buildings that can build units, then you're not out of the game. But obviously he had 0 villagers and his TC was dead. Technically, oh, did actually spend. I was going to say he could make a couple more axes, but he actually did. I didn't actually notice that during the game. But yeah, and then it got to the point where Vertex got himself to the Iron Age, and the walls went up. Vertex, the cavalry and chariot archers got those heavy cavalry, and eventually catfracked in. And Unrestricted just pulling back for when he went to the Iron Age himself. Again, potentially he could have just kept pushing, possibly. It's kind of a bit reminiscent of when Popeye kind of pulled his army back in Game 3 as the Hittites, to just wait for the Iron Age to come in. But instead, Unrestricted decides to try and hold the position to get to the Iron Age, and that's where the big Vertex pushes started happening. And catapult, yeah, the cataphracts in. So the unit's very powerful, especially the Shang ones with a faster attack. But yeah, we saw the rest of the game, so we'll leave it there. And GG's 2-2. Let's get ourselves ready for the fifth and final game. Yeah, very well played by Vertex there. Like I said, he just had himself set up quite nicely in the Bronze Age with those extra TCs and got that boom going. And like I said, Popeye just never really got his Bronze Age army up and running, which gave Vertex that chance to get himself to the Iron Age and try and push himself. But at the end of the day, 1v2 is always going to be very, very difficult. Like I said, just because you're limited by population space more than anything. Popeye and Rez combined have a space of 500, and it doesn't matter how many resources Vertex has, he can only have a maximum of 250 units on the field. As looks like maybe they might be just taking a quick break, just because that game is quite a long one. Yeah, so there was a bit of banter in the Discord chat, but I think we're pretty much ready to go. Take a quick swig of my beverage again before the next game begins. Excuse me. Put the music back on. I think they should only be a couple of minutes until we get ourselves into Game 5 of this series. In fact, they've literally just clicked now, so I'll pause the music again and we'll get ourselves into Game 5 of this Mayhem Addicts. Addicts. Why can't I say that word? I'm English. I should be able to speak my own language. Game between Bongo and Vertex versus Unrestricted and Popeye. And again, it's a random map, random civs. And oh my, okay, they're on different teams. I saw two civs pop up then, and I thought they were both on the same team for a second there. So the map is mega random. Oh, they called Ree. What I saw pop up was Shang and Latvia, and I thought for a second they were on the same team. What was actually said there? There's a bit of conversation. So Unrestricted went Latvia with 2,000 berry. I guess, was there quite a lot of berries on the start? Let me check. Oh yeah, they've got, oh wow, okay. They've got 3 berry patches right by their base. So yeah, it's a pretty good advantage for the Latvia there. Now, this is quite an interesting map though. It's kind of a little bit of a shame we didn't see this go down. It's like kind of hill in the middle. All the players very close to each other. Yeah, I mean, Unrestricted Popeye had Karth and Shang, which are 2 pretty good early game civs with how close you are to each other. But obviously, Latvia, I mean, but Vertex is Greek. I don't know if I might have been tempted to play this out as Popeye and Unrestricted. I don't think you're not going to get much better random civs than that, I don't think. Obviously this map is a huge advantage to the Latvia. It's actually Bongo over here, just because it has how many berries, food of berries is that? Yeah, 2,221, just because he's already gathered a little bit there. But so literally no hunt. Oh no, there is an elephant and stuff. I'm a little bit disappointed about that actually. I've been quite an interesting map spawn to have played out, but I don't know if they have to select mega random again or if they can just go. It looks okay. They have chosen mega random again, and they've using their restart there again. They had Shang and Karth, which, yeah, they have picked. I just couldn't remember myself what the rules was for that, but they have actually locked in mega random. I can see, but yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. Because I think I'd prefer having 2 pretty good civs against 1 very good civ and a not very good civ in a 2v2. It's hard to say. Obviously, Unrestricted felt that he didn't want the disadvantage of the Latvia having such a strong start there. Okay, looks like we're in. So yeah, we're back on mega random, and we will have a look what the civs are. Okay, so very different set of civilizations this time. Karth is still in there, but this time it's Vertex that has Karth, and I can't remember if it was actually Popeye or Unrestricted that had Karth now. It was on the other team before. Bongo on the Babylonians, and interesting spawn again. We just to finish off the roster though, Sumerians for Unrestricted and Popeye on the Macedonians, I believe again. I think he did have the Macedonians in an earlier game today. Change scene, sorry about that wattle, do apologise. There we go. But yeah, we've got quite an interesting map here. Central pool with a decent amount of fish in there. It's about 4,000 plus food in there. Villagers coming forward, having a look around. Vertex is going to find an elephant. But yeah, Unrestricted has seen the central water. In fact, Popeye's seen the bottom. So interesting, yeah, Vertex has a lake. Popeye has a lake. The left and right players do not have a lake, but there is the central lake. And what else can I tell you? It's a small patch of extra berries for some of the players. There's a couple of elephants around. But yeah, Popeye doing quite a lot of scouting, which is probably a good thing to do. In fact, yeah, Unrestricted as well. He's not going to try... I was going to say bone rush, but he would have sent way more than one villager if he was going to do that. But yeah, looks like Unrestricted is going to go straight to his opponent. Ooh, I think that house didn't see the villager, but obviously Unrestricted does see the house. And yes, it's going to be an interesting one. Did Vertex see? No, he didn't see the water. Yeah, but Bongo and Vertex, well, Vertex in particular, much less exploration. He's happy that he's found his gazelle. He's just going to push those in. Bongo is doing a bit of exploration with one villager. You see his gazelle does find those extra berries. But yeah, Popeye and Unrestricted seen basically all the key features of the map. You can see that there's actually not much in the way of shore fish, but there are an okay amount. Actually, yeah, it's a little bit. Okay, there is a lot more food than I thought. It's because it's like it's always hard when there's different types of fish to see. Oh yeah, it's like 2k on there in the snapper. But yeah, again, Vertex. Oh no, Vertex has found it and does dock it straight away. That's kind of funny. It's funny that yeah, Popeye saw it instantly, but hasn't gone for that dock yet. He's going for the double barracks, and this adventuring villager is coming all the way back home again. Potentially, we're going to see maybe a dock go up. I play from home, so barracks yeah is going to go up home for unres. As yeah, here's the Sumerians, so you kind of do want to try and get into those later phases of the game to take advantage of some of their bonuses. But yeah, double barracks, clubber pump coming out for Popeye, and villager from Bongo here. I think probably won't get spotted. Probably get. Ooh, maybe it will actually. It's going to be a close run thing. Actually, will get spotted now. And what is the reaction from Popeye, if there is one? And he's just, unfortunately, taken the first hit. I mean, he could take the high ground. Clubbers are being pulled back. I think he should have only pulled one clubber, though, and sent the others forward, probably. Tower being researched already. I suspect that'll come up on the wood line, I would imagine, unless he's going to put it on the berries. I don't know. We'll see. Clubber comes out, but there's no upgrades on that clubber just yet. Actually, there is, but it's the attack one. And as per usual, as I always say, I much prefer the armor tech first. Axe upgrade is in, but I think the damage is kind of already done. Yep, down he goes, doesn't even get the hit out. So Unrestricted is going to try to wall up. That wall's not actually built up yet, though. The scout is actually out. Oh no, sorry, it's being trained at the moment. I got confused by what was going on there. Vertex, as I said, very quick to get himself set up on the water. Looks like Popeye has done so as well. So both those players going to have that advantage, although Bongo has gone for that centre water as well. Unrestricted, I suspect, will try and contest that at some point. And this bow is probably going to get picked off by that scout here. There's extra bit of damage against archers as well. Has to run away from the Axa though. And again, yeah, he's tried to wall up, but so he's only got 40 stone left and he's got a long way to go for the walls. It's actually open right at the back here as well. But yeah, he does have a couple of bowmen out on the field. And there are no slingers inbound from Vertex. And it looks like Bongo is just focusing on getting his eco set. He does have a few bows in his archery range. So potentially this little attack from Popeye just gets dealt with. Although Popeye actually has got a couple of slingers already down. Or out on the field. And let's have a look. See, yeah, looks like there's. What happened? I guess those axes just got dealt with, or those maybe those were the ones there that Vertex just ended up pulling back. So there's a little bit of a tentative early game. Vertex now also putting a dock up on the centaur. Maybe more to just help contest rather than just go for some. I'm sure he will add some fishing boats, but. Thought process might be just to try and get more control over here. But yeah, neither Popeye or Unrestricted have gone for that centre wall yet. Actually, is that a duck now? It is. Yeah, it looks like Popeye getting a good push in onto the TC. And again, the slingers are coming forward. Archery range on his opponent's face. Those bows are going to take out a couple of axes though. And I think, yeah, I was going to say, I think if the slingers can come forward here, I don't think Popeye needs to be too afraid. It's just a house that's not been built yet. Another little push from Vertex now. Restricted going to try and wall up behind this. Bow just shooting over. 4 bowmen for Vertex here. One of these villagers almost definitely going to go down. There's in fact 2. Unrestricted. 3rd villager. I don't know if this is a little bit of I mean, the wall is up. He lost 4 villagers for that though. He's going to lose a 5th one. Let's get this guy back to safety. But we're going to flank round though. And then Restricted should clear this up. Stable survives for now. Woodworking is coming in for Popeye. Let's have a check back up on what's going on over here. Villagers forced to run. The house is deleted to let the villagers flee for their lives. Town centre is going to go down. And Bongo does. It looks like are those ships collecting, or they kind of look idle. I think they are collecting. They got the nets down, so you still will have that food income there. But otherwise, his base is looking a little bit in ruins at this point. Popeye getting a very nice push in. Obviously, that was that forward villager that ended up getting spotted out by Popeye, which prevented Bongo from having any real forward of his own. And yeah, okay, it was just the fishing boats, scout ship. Oh, they did build one scout ship, which is going to spot Unres's docks. So maybe we see a few more scout ships added in by some of the players. Fishing boat's going to go down. Let's have a look back to Bongo's TC as we see it fall to pieces. Bongo does have a reasonably sized army here. Does have woodworking in as well. I don't think he. Oh no, he does have stone mining as well, to be fair. Oh, he's Babylonians. There we go, that makes sense. Cheaper market techs coming in handy there. Unrestricted now with a good mass of bowmen. And despite losing a handful of villagers, it is Popeye and Unrestricted. With the, well, I was going to say with the most villagers, but then obviously taking into account Vertex has a huge number of fishing boats. And I think the eco edge probably is in Vertex and Bongo's favour just because they have been making those fishing boats for all this time. Popeye's got a good fishing eco setup himself now though. And do we see any of the players going for bronze? In fact, yeah, we go. Popeye nearly to the bronze himself. And likewise is Vertex. Obviously, Bongo lost his TC, so it'll be a little while before he goes to bronze. Not in the bronze yet for Unrestricted. And here we go. And 3 transport ships have been built. I feel like that's potentially a misclick. Yeah, they got cancelled there. And Popeye's selling a few resources, just get an initial burst of gold. Yeah, it's probably just to afford the first couple of pumps of cavalry, which should be able to deal. Where actually are the stables? Are they forward as well, or are stables at home? I can't see the stables, but where are they? Okay, they're over here. No, those are archery range. Oh, the stables are here, so our cavalry aren't going to be back in time. 2 villagers instantly go down. Popeye hasn't noticed yet. 4 villagers, 5 villagers, 6 villagers. And Popeye now notices that the damage already coming through. That said, cavalry are coming... Oh no, the cavalry are being pulled back now. And let's have a look. See, Vertex is now in the Bronze Age as well. War Galley upgrade coming in, interestingly, for Popeye, considering he doesn't have a single scout ship out, and he isn't on the middle to contest. Unrestricted does have 4 docks down, but War Galley upgrade is already in for Vertex. Only 1 War Galley at the moment, but should be able to get the edge there, as it should be 2v1 on the water. Although that said, Bongo maybe a little bit forced on the back foot, hasn't been able to get any scout ships out, so there's a little bit of another attack here with some cavalry pushing forward. Restricted doesn't have any units on the land. He's going to be able to get the wall down though. And how close is Unrestricted to be able to click the bronze? Still a little bit of a ways off. And Popeye has quite a lot of food again. Maybe Unrestricted could use some extra food. Looks like Popeye's going to come help clear up. Actually, a few villagers got caught out by this flank around. And is there a gap there? I think there might be a gap in the wall. Cavalry are going to clear up all the Tall Age units. So Popeye going to help out a bit. But gate goes down. Popeye does have the better storage pit techs. He needs to get these units involved in the fight though. And I think they can take this fight just because Popeye does have those better techs on the cavalry. Needs to be careful of this slight low ground to high ground disadvantage though. And Vertex trying to focus down the villagers, and in the end has enough units to clear up Popeye's initial engage. Looks like Bongo has sort of got himself tucked away and rebuilding his town again. He does have another force of units down on the south side here. Another push comes through. So yeah, there's Carthaginian cavalry, get the nobility for free as well. And there's camel riders with huge amount of extra HP. Popeye switching into the Macedonian hoplite. Obviously, like I've said in games past, as we plays the game will know, +1 pierce armor in the Bronze Age, as well as a conversion resistance. They are a very slow unit. Obviously, if you can get them in combat with any other melee unit, you're going to have a pretty good time. Probably not enough units here. Bongo going to be able to clear up, but yeah, even the hoplites going to still fall away underneath the Tall Age units. But yeah, a couple more cavalry and that should clear that up now. And yeah, as I said earlier, Vertex just easily able to take control of the centre. And again, I'm a little bit confused why Popeye made the War Galley upgrade, because he still hasn't made a single scout ship. A few cavalry units helping defend. Is it getting to the point where the fish is starting to run out though? I don't see him anymore. I think it's just a couple of shore fish left, so that's a big advantage for Vertex going to be gone. He has invested quite heavily in those fishing ships. Well, he does have a good number of villagers as well though, so he's going to be able to transition that onto just villager economy. And Unrestricted is in the Bronze Age now, I've just noticed, And are we anywhere near the Bronze Age for the Babylonians? There we go. And I suspect it would probably just be chariot units for Babylonian. As we see another bit of an engage. Carthaginian camels are very difficult to deal with though. Popeye is not going to really want to... Yeah, he's been smart and not taking the direct engage with the cavalry, trying to lever these hoplites into position. But again, they're just so slow against the cavalry especially. He's going to have a hard time getting the fight he wants. Unrestricted, going to quick wall, close this gap off. It's still open down this side here though. I think he doesn't want to take that fight there though. Artifact getting mixed up in the in the medley. But yeah, I think one of either Popeye or Unrestricted is probably going to need to go priests to try and deal with these camels, or at least some sort of ranged unit. But yeah, Mace, I guess Popeye could try to transition into composite bowman. That's a pretty good unit for dealing with camels. And that's pretty good damage done by the hoplites there. But again, left trailing behind the camels. As you can see, town centres and buildings flooding up, or coming up all over the map. Siege come out, pushing through the walls now. Unrestricted is making camel of his own. But you don't really want to go camel for camel against Carth. Obviously the Sumerian camels have their bonus in their own right, but just the extra HP. And yeah, I think the food ran out. Oh no, there is one bit of fish left there, but it looks like Vertex did delete a bunch of his fishing boats. But we'll focus on the push. Unrestricted is just trying to wall up behind. Academy's being built an Unrestricted base, so Bongo's kind of still yet to really join the fray. He's making a few priests now himself, that he's in now that he's in the Bronze Age. Yeah, these catapults quite menacing. And yeah, like I said, Unrestricted on camel production. But again, his camels, I don't think he has nobility yet, so 125 HP against the, how much is it, 166 of the Carthaginians. And these catapults just going to keep hammering away at the walls. Popeye's still focusing on the hoplites, and Carthaginian hoplites coming in. And this is why the Carthaginians just have such powerful units in the Bronze Age. I think, again, possibly Popeye probably should have tried to switch into the composite bowman at this point. He's going to try and snipe down the catapults, though, is Unrestricted. I think the hoplites here are going to prevent this. Oh, a good snipe on the catapult there, though. So does that survive? It does survive that hit. So that's good work. Sumerian catapults do fire a little bit faster, but now it's going to go down. And I think, I mean, Popeye does have hoplites of his own, but again, the Carthaginian hoplites just stronger. Just the extra HP bonus. 1 for 1, just we had to deal with the Macedonian hoplites. And I think not all of the hoplites, yeah, a lot of, again, Popeye just not really utilising his army. I guess it will help to defend this push here. I think he's going to get quite a few of these converted. He's going to lose about 5 of these. Good conversions. And I think Unrestricted. Popeye's gone to Iron Age. He's trying to get Phalangite out, but I think it would for his mace. I guess he was wondering why it took so long to get the conversions in. Fuck. Carthaginians on your team, buddy. But yeah, I don't think anything is going to stop the hoplites from Bongo now. And Unrestricted down below 30 vils. And Popeye trying to make war elephants. Which again is just going to be another slow unit. That's going to be not going to be there in time. Phalangite upgrade is going to come in, but I think 15 Phalangite still isn't going to work up against 35 Hoplites. And it looks like Vertex is going to push this one through. He's aging up as well. There we go. He's already half the way up to Iron Age. Bongo's had a pretty quiet game. He does have a few Phalangite in his base, but honestly I don't think that's going to matter too much. Yeah, Hoplites should be able to deal with the Phalangite just because of the numbers, like I said before. And I think this one's going to be going in Bongo and Vertex's favour. And it was good effort from Popeye and Unrestricted. But yeah, I think, like I said, Calf's unit's just very, very strong. They got a lot of good military bonuses in the Bronze Age. Unrestricted never really got himself set up in the Bronze Age. Got those few camels out, but again, like I said, the Karth camels are just stronger. Now, but we've got Centurion coming in. How does Popeye have all these resources? I guess, well, he's not really been touched at home, but yeah, Unrestricted is basically just doomed at this point. There are still a few Phalangites being very annoying in the base, but yeah, Phalangite upgrade coming in for Vertex now. And actually Bongo is in Iron Age, I hadn't noticed that, and he's going to start trying to mass up some horse archers. And those should be able to clear up the base. Still a few Phalangite around, but I mean, you can see from the eco numbers and the military numbers where this game's headed. I mean, Unrestricted still trying to keep himself going, but he's down to 13 vills, 2 hoplites. Centurion is going to come in. Or is it? Oh, no, okay, the one was called by Bongo. I thought that was, sometimes people say 1 for like GG at the end of the game. And yeah, Unrestricted sending all of his resources to Popeye. I think that's the telltale sign that you're giving in. And we're going to see the Centurions coming in. So actually, Popeye probably will win this fight. Just because Centurions are very, very strong. But Bongo's got plenty more where that came from. And like I said, the horse archer numbers are starting to build up now. And yeah, alchemy and ballistics in. Artisanship coming in as well. And where is the remnants of Unrestricted's base? It's got 13 vills somewhere. Centurion tower shield coming in for Vertex. Just trying to find the last cluster of units. Yeah, it's just the archers dealing with the last straggling Centurions. And yeah, okay, here we go. This is the big wave of Phalangite coming in. Soon to be Centurions. It's been a close back and forth series. But yeah, I don't think... I mean, we saw Vertex trying to play 1v2 last game and did a pretty good job. I don't know if Popeye is going to be able to have the same success here. And we've seen the Centurions versus Centurions, but again, the Calf Centurions have 200 HP each against the Macedonians, which have 160. And that probably be a good idea to start the trade going at this point. Although actually, that said, Vertex is on 2k gold. Just so that oh okay, just grab the gold here. I mean, the game is basically done. I'm just saying, as a a reinsurance sort of thing if somehow the game does flip. Popeye does still have the higher number of Centurions, but again, the Carthaginian one's just much stronger. Do they miss both Iron Age techs? I thought they got what we're looking at here. So Vertex is yellow. Okay, they do miss. Alright, fair enough. I thought they got the Metallurgy still, but I was misremembering. So I guess that does actually sort of balance out the HP a little bit, but I think because the Centurions do so much damage, it's better to have the HP rather than the armor. And Popeye again, just sort of got his units here, there, everywhere. He's going to be able to clear this up down here. Yeah, Ballista coming in as well for Vertex now. And the Horse Archer numbers did get thinned out, so I guess maybe the Centurions managed to close the gap here. And then we're going to see a little bit of a battle. Vertex doesn't quite have enough Centurions here, although actually that said, Popeye kind of taking a lot of free hits. I don't know exactly where he's sending these units. Took a lot of free damage there. So he probably is going to lose the fight out. Alchemy coming in for Vertex as well, just to, I guess, give those ballistas an extra little bit of damage. But I think we're basically just kind of waiting for Popeye to tap out at this point. He's going to keep trying to play for the time being. He's got a lot of wood. Don't know what he's going to do with that wood, but he's got a lot of it. A couple of elephants sort of doing their thing. Yeah, there isn't really one decisive finishing battle, it seems. It kind of just dribs and drabs of units everywhere. Where are the Centurions? Yeah, there's a few here. There's a few here trying to chew through the wall. Yeah, you can just see it's donezo, boys and girls. And like I said, it's been a very back and forth series, some good games. But yeah, Unrestricted has now resigned. And now it's just Popeye. Maybe he just wants to have one last battle. But again, it's kind of... There was an... Oh, okay, here we go. Vertex is going to bring the fight to him. And we see the last march of the Centurions. 53 to 32. And yeah, Vertex just getting all the last upgrades. Looks, yeah, Helopolis Guard Tower even coming in now as well, so it looks like he's going to start pushing forward with the towers just to grab hold of the last bits of gold on the map that are in the remnants of Unrestricted's base. And they become with the Centurions. And then we group up here with the ballistas, soon to be, well, I say soon, it's still going to be another couple of minutes before Helopolis is in. And Guard Tower is trying to be researched by Popeye, as he's now getting pincered on both sides. Like I said, Bongo not done too much this game. It's interesting he's researched Siegecraft there. I feel like Siegecraft's kind of a bit of a pointless tech these days, because you don't need it to unlock. I think it's Heavy Catapult you needed it before. Yeah, GG's. Like I said, we'll see sort of a last kind of battle. Again, Popeye kind of just taking free hits. I think he's right-clicking instead of like attack moving. Oh, he's maybe trying to close down on the ballistas. But yeah, Vertex just too many Carthaginian Centurions. Helopolis is nearly in. Sentry Towers not going to really do anything to stop the Centurions. GG is called, and the 3-2 victory goes in Bongo and Vertex's favour. And yeah, unfortunately, Unrestricted just wasn't able to hold on against that push against Vertex. And then Popeye, although he got a good push on Bongo in the early game, wasn't able to do enough to sort of help his teammate out in this game. Like I said, the composition was just a little bit awkward for Popeye Unrestricted, just because Carthaginians get those two very strong units of the hoplites and the camels in the mid game. You're basically forced to go for some sort of ranged units to try and deal with them, really. But neither Popeye or Unrestricted did go for those ranged units. Way too late for these games. I mean, it was pretty bad back and forth. Like I said, I feel like in some one of the earlier games, when like that, specifically that one where Popeye was on the Hittites, I feel like Popeye maybe could have punished a little bit more, and maybe that game could have gone in their favour at that time. And like I said, I feel like Unres, you probably should have gone camels as the Egyptians in that game just to start off in the Bronze Age. Private Pond OP. Yeah, Popeye had one as well. But yeah, I think the main thing was actually Vertex and Bongo got control of the middle, whereas Popeye didn't. It was only you contesting in your team on this side, so you kind of lost the middle quite easily there. But yeah, some pretty good games. Pretty good games all around. Oh, wait, why are you raiding me now, Unrestricted? I was like, wait, I've got way more viewers now. I'm about to finish the stream. But thanks for coming over. Like I said, there were some pretty nice games. Just reading the chat. Yeah, I was kind of like, I saw you guys talking. I was like playing a different game, and then I was like, oh wait, the series is starting now. So I kind of like had to drop what I was doing. I think the 110% was about right. I think like you could see that Popeye was quite competitive. Yeah, I was. I mean, I think like you still got some good conversions in. It made me laugh though when you were like, "Oh, I thought it was Carth," and I was like, "It's your teammate that's Carth, buddy." But yeah, you did get some good conversions, but obviously after that you're like, "Oh, wait, why is this taking so long?" Yeah, but you kind of forced on the defensive a lot for that game. But yeah, Vertex got a really good push in on Unrestricted. Like I said, Unrestricted tried to go for those camels in defense, but yeah, like I've said a million times now, but the Carth camels is very hard to deal with. Like I said, you pretty much have to go for some sort of ranged unit to deal with the Carth camels. I guess technically you could maybe try and go for the infantry line, but if your opponent builds some sort of ranged unit behind that, then you're going to suffer a bit. Like you could see the idea for the hoplites from Popeye to deal with all the cavalry, but like I said, it's just very difficult in the Bronze Age when you've got you don't have aristocracy and that unit's just so slow. It's why the Greeks are just so good with their hoplites, is just because they've got that speed bonus on their hoplites. It's like that's kind of the biggest weakness of the unit in the earlier phase in the game, the Bronze Age. But yeah, I think there's not really too much to look back through in the timeline, I don't think, because like I said, it was a fairly steady in a way early game. Like I said, Bongo did get pushed a bit by Popeye, but then that push did get kind of dealt with, and then it was just a case of Vertex being kind of the first to really get that fish economy set up, and then obviously they got control of the central water as well. Yeah, well, like I said, it felt like Popeye was pretty competitive. Again, I think there was a couple of phases in the late game. Yeah, well, that's exactly what I was going to say, Enrez. There's in the late game, there's points where he just wasn't using his resources, and he just needed to keep production going. But like, obviously, like I said, it gets pretty hectic in the late game, and he's up against some pretty strong opponents. even if he does have a 10% boost to pretty much everything, it's still pretty tough. But yeah, that's definitely something Popeye could work on, is just making sure he's using his resources he has available to him. I mean, yeah, it's obviously really good, but then, yeah, but you're like a really top level player in Res, so obviously if you had a 10% advantage, you'd be able to abuse that a lot more than Popeye and players our level could. Look, population. But yeah, like I said, the fourth game where Vertex somehow managed to hold in that 1v2 for so long. But again, I think that might have just been again because Popeye wasn't like filling out his population and kind of pushing maybe as much as he could have done. But again, he might have just been a bit wary against a strong opponent.